Good day, one and all. My name is Josh. Mike is here. Dave is here. And this is my opportunity to tell you that if you love this podcast, or if it's, you're forced to listen, either way, you can support. We have a Patreon page. You can go there, patreon.com/InterBrews or InterBrews.com/Patreon, or click the link below if you're on the website. And you can support the show for as little as $1 an episode to help support craft beer audio in Houston and beyond. Worthwhile cause. And now, one thing I didn't realize until last night, but you can anonymously support. So if this is your guilty pleasure, your secret is safe with us. So patreon.com/InterBrews. Help support the show. We thank you. Now on to the reason that we're all here.
The following is a presentation of Stewed Productions.
Hi, I'm Dave, and you're listening to InterBrews.
This is InterBrews.
You know, you did it like you've done it before. You know,
maybe a few times.
Yeah, no need for excessive celebration here. He's a professional. How are things, Dave?
Great. Thanks for having me on again. This is my. I love doing this at noon, and I'm getting good. The reason I know I'm getting good at this is because I'm like, okay, I'm just scrapping the whole rest of the day, and I'm taking an Uber home. So.
Yeah, that's basically it. And I took the rest of the day off too, so it's gonna. Yeah. We may get a little silly. Mike is here, back again, 2 episodes in a row now. You're full-fledged back on board, right? Yep. You took a little time to go do some things.
I'm here,
and then we just guerrilla scheduled it as we could. So this is the InterBrews you know and love. One of your favorite places, I know, as you're listening. Southern Star. Just let that sink in.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of my favorite places to visit. It's in the woods. It's comforting. The tables are nice. The beer is delicious. And the people.
The air conditioner's cool.
It is. You have some of the best air conditioning.
I can turn it down, too.
No, it's nice.
I just crank down. I just got back from Mexico, so I'm just like, crank it down.
Where in Mexico? Did they even have air conditioning in Mexico?
Sort of. It was a little cooler than it was outside. The funny thing about Mexico is I got there and I was like, it's cooler here than it is at home.
Yeah.
Not by much, but we were in Playa del Carmen, so okay. It's hot, it's humid, but. Yeah. Around me, Canadians are dying, and I'm just like, it's a full 5 degrees cooler here than it was at home. So
pour out some maple syrup for this guy.
Yeah, just revive them. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, those guys drink.
Yeah.
Good night.
It's you got to keep warm up there.
I guess
it's right now. I think it's still like 40. I don't know. They're having a heat wave.
Yeah, that's
60.
Yeah. All the moose are dying.
Yeah, sweating moose. Moose. Nothing worse than a sweaty moose. Nothing. I mean, there's bad things in life, but a sweaty moose.
Sweaty moose is it's pretty bad.
It's angry, stinky, huge. Doesn't hold a conversation at all. No. I've been there before, Playa. I've been there. Beautiful blue waters.
Not so much this time.
Really?
There's a ton of sargasso.
What is that?
It's seaweed, and apparently there's for the last 5 years they're having this huge epidemic of this influx of seaweed that's coming in. Everybody there is blaming it on climate change, and but it kind of makes sense. I was listening to one of the guys, and he was talking about how. Just the way the currents move and how the Amazon's being, rapidly kind of deforested and used for agriculture. Yeah. Well, and it's being heavily fertilized because the soil sucks there.
Yeah.
So all that fertilizer is running off into the Amazon, going out into the ocean, and then the currents are taking it out. And because the sargasso is an algae.
Yeah.
So you get this huge algal bloom, and you take water that was once crystal clear and blue, and for the first 5 feet out, it looks a lot like Galveston now. Yeah. It clears out pretty quick once you get out there, but it stinks.
Yeah. They had a problem with I forget some sort of plant that grew on the water at Lake Conroe.
Yeah, hydrilla.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they brought in the carp.
They did. Now they got a carp problem.
Yeah.
Is that the fish?
Yeah, the ones that you can, if you're ever in the dock, you can put your feet in the water and they'll suck on your toes.
Oh.
They don't have to eat And they have skin. They're like catfish, but they don't taste like catfish.
They're not bad. I'm actually an avid carp fisherman.
Are they bony? Like bonier than most fish?
They can be. They're oily.
Okay.
But like anything, the carp. We get into Southern Star of Omaha's wildlife show, but they
kill that bug.
The carp were actually introduced to America as a food fish.
Really?
And carp fishing in Europe is huge. I like it a lot because where else are you going to go and consistently catch 10-pound fish?
Seriously, they're huge, right?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that I've caught was 19.9 pounds.
Wow.
It's a blast, and it's easy. You make your own bait. It's very, very conducive to just sitting on a dock and drinking beer in the middle of the night and waiting for something to go doot, 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 and then you yank it and the action's on. So it's a lot of fun.
A lot of the like Vietnamese restaurants and stuff. That's a big one for them too.
Yeah, I mean, like I like it. I've prepared it a lot of different ways. I usually only keep one of them. I usually just catch and release the whole time, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to take them out and kill them.
Yeah.
I enjoy eating invasive species. I really do. I just think that's like the coolest thing. Like, it's like I take special pleasure in eating, wild pigs, and I just shot a nilgai not too terribly long ago. It's a Indian antelope that they brought over to the King Ranch about 100 years ago, and they've escaped and procreated prolifically, and they're as big as a horse.
Oh, wow.
And they run faster than a horse. They evolved running away from tigers, so they're huge. I shot a cow, and I just got my meat a couple of weeks ago, and I had 122 pounds of meat off of one beast.
So what is it? What would you compare it to flavor-wise?
I mean, antelope, big time. And if you never had antelope, I mean, it's beefier than deer. I love it. I think it's fantastic tasting. It's got a little bit of it's not beef, but it's I think it's absolutely delicious.
Well, that's kind of like when you think of, we're at the top of the food chain, but we have these brains to understand, all right, let's take out what's here in the proper way. So if something's eating too much of everything else, that's where we step in.
And like I said, I went to this place in Baltimore. I was there for Maryland Death Fest about 4 years ago now, and it was this killer bar, and they had just awesome beers, and their whole menu, well, except for like the fries, the whole menu, all the meat on their menu was invasive species. And I thought, how cool is that? I mean, you get zebra mussels and snakehead, which is an invasive fish.
I think I've seen those.
And then wild hog, and stuff like that, like feral hog. And I was just like, wow, this is super cool. You like eat and you feel good about it too.
Yeah.
You're like, take that, you little bastards.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like when you talk about carp, it reminded me of. Did we talk about Andy Griffith the last time I was here? The Andy Griffith show. I don't remember if we did or not. I feel like that was one of the things we meandered off into. But there was an episode of the Andy Griffith show where these ladies, they were reporters from like what was the big city? Mount Pilot? No. What was the capital? Raleigh. They were in from Raleigh or somewhere, and they were talking about, he was the sheriff without a gun, yada, yada, yada. And they were doing a profile on him, and the mayor was like, yeah, he's killed him a lot of carp. He killed the carp. And they thought the carps were the family or something. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, he just gets them and whacks them in the head. He's, everybody loves that he kills the carps. And they were just appalled.
And then he eats them.
Yes. And so we can kill all the carps, we'd be happy. And they were all, it was just a running joke because they didn't know what carps were. So, Mike, have you ever caught a carp? You've never even seen a carp, have you? All right. Maybe we can go from here to Lake Conroe and just carp fish.
Strangely enough, in Lake Conroe, it's the only lake in Texas to where you have to throw the carp back. You can't kill them and keep them. You throw them back. But it's only Asian carp. Okay. Those ones. There's several different kinds of carp. I'm not good enough to know which ones are which. I mean, I probably could, but there's you'll be hard pressed to find like Peterson's Field Guide to Carps. So I catch them. I'm like, that one looks different, and then throw it back. Some of them almost look like goldfish, like koi. Yeah, and then some of them look like some of them are silver. They're really cool looking.
Checker mark, the Argyle.
Yeah,
had this been 10 years ago, I would have made a racially insensitive joke there. How you could tell the difference, but I won't now. Insert your own.
And I know I've kind of forgotten about I've scrubbed it from my mind.
Yeah,
I'm woke.
There you go. I'm just saying how you tell the difference. And I was I automatically went to like Chinese
Inappropriate.
restaurant. Yeah, and I was like, okay, you can't make this.
They can't do that anymore.
Yeah, something
That's
about
right.
I was going to say something about
You did, but
a
you
gong or something, but I anyway. Anyway, is it unwoke just to talk like an instrument?
I don't think so. I don't even know what woke really
Plays-
is. I'm too old to be woke.
Plays the gong. If I don't know. Wow.
Yeah,
That's the earliest we've gone off the rails, I think, on this.
we just started right off the rails.
we never even got on the rails.
No.
We're not even near the. We're not even the rail yard.
Yeah, we're not. We're nowhere near the station.
We're in the middle of a field, potato field or something. I don't know. Let's talk about beer.
All right.
We're drinking your newest, the Firefighter beer. This one is, I get the new
Local 2731
2731 for the firefighters.
for the Conroe firefighters. I mean, for all firefighters, but we made this beer. Let me back up a little bit. Every year, Conroe Fire Department has been doing this thing called Fire Up the Bands, and they've been doing it for a while. They started really raising a bunch of money post Harvey to help out several of the Conroe Fire Departments. Firefighters lost their houses or had their houses damaged, so they started making their own sort of 100 club ish thing, and they started raising a bunch of money and paid for a lot of the firemen's thing, and then they had money left over, and they said, hey, there's things around the community that need to be done. So they do like coats for kids in the wintertime. They do all kinds of cool stuff, and it's all everything's for charity. So super cool. So fast forward a few years, and they had the Fire of the Bands this year, and they thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to have our own beer? And they approached us, and we immediately said, yes, let's do this. And so Local 2731 was born. We wanted to make something that was super easy to drink, and something that good old blue collar fire folks and whatnot. I mean,
So you need something. You need something when you're fighting fire that's going to put that out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need something that's thirst quenching, and this definitely is. So what we did is we made a lighter rendition of our Bombshell Blonde. It's not really Bombshell Blonde Light, but it's based on the beer. It's not the same beer, but it's based upon the beer. We changed some things to keep it balanced the way that we like it, and I think it turned out really, really well. We're almost all sold out of it. So
So is it 3.6 with a 9 IBU?
no, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Our tap board, there's still a lot of
get-
confusion. The 9 IBU's right, but this beer's it's right at up in the upper forest to where it's still considered an ale right now. But it's super easy to drink.
Yeah. We were saying the perfect pizza beer.
Yeah,
It just screams weekends and pizzas and just. I got the chance to brew with a friend of mine. He's a firefighter, and he's the chief at his firehouse, and he had a bunch of his underlings. Is that what they're called, underlings? His people, his guys. Anyway, they were there, and he was like telling them, like, go get my grains. It was good. Yes, chief.
Yes, chief. I'll go get your grains.
Yes, but it was a lot of just good people. Like they're just the very nature. Mike, volunteer firefighter, just you're good people. You would you sign up, you join up because the community is something that you care about a lot. People don't run into burning buildings and cut people out of houses or whatever in cars and in the middle of the night because it's. It's exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you do it because you have a call for some kind of service. It's funny. I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I don't recall ever meeting a firefighter that I didn't like.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. You hang around a lot of firefighters probably, but there's got to be a couple of bad apples out there. But generally, yeah. All the people that I've met that that I've ever known throughout my life that are firefighters have been just cool people, giving people, and those kind of people that kind of step up and take the extra step to serve their fellow man, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, good dudes, and love beer.
Yeah, most of them do. Again, fire, beer, that's
Perfect. So, any you said you're almost out. Or is this going to be like a once a year thing, or just a one-off thing, or
right now it's a one-off thing. We haven't really decided what we're going to do with it next year. We'll kind of look into it and see what's going on next year. they're going to have a hard time topping what they did this year. They had Josh Fuller, Roger Krieger, and Corey Morrow all play back to back to back. It was super cool. I'm not even really into that kind of that music scene, but every one of those bands was spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there. I planned on staying for about an hour, and I ended up staying for about 6 and Ubering home. So
there's something about live music and people that do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like some people make good albums. And that has a lot to do with who else is helping you out,
Right.
producers, and
you can tell when a group of dudes have been playing together for 20 years. I mean,
it's
they're just like tight.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
No matter the genre, and then when you hear that, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and enjoy this. 'Cause
Yeah.
these dudes are good, or gals.
This is taproom only, right?
No, that's not on the market.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's on the market.
You're in luck.
Delicious. Yeah. So there's still there. You think there'll still be some out there?
Not real sure exactly where it would be, but I get depletion reports every week, and I see that it's still selling, pretty consistently. I don't know how much they have left in the warehouse. We're out here, so so I'm not real sure.
Yeah, good stuff though.
Did we lose Mike?
You losing it? Yeah.
Did we lose him?
No, I think we're losing all Mike.
Oh, the headphone thing.
But yeah, just probably battery.
Oh, it is the battery.
Yeah.
You didn't look it before we started. There's more 9 volts over there. We can pause
Okay.
if you want to, or
No.
you can just keep talking.
Keep talking.
Okay.
So we're still on.
Yeah, we're still on.
All right, cool.
Sounds good. Like I'm looking at you, like, what's wrong with you? Like, everything's
We're
solid.
looking at each other like, what's going on here? I'm like creeping up closer to the microphones.
Okay, this is where I'll go on a little bit of a rant while he's doing that. Not a rant, but just I had an epiphany driving here. This is one of those places where, okay, so
Gives you time to think driving up. Yeah, it's one of those
well,
places.
it's a little further. It's
Sojourn to the north.
It's not the furthest. There's further, like when I go like Galveston, Dickinson, that area. It's for me personally. It's further. All worth the drive. But this one is. Anyway, I was just thinking because we come up here regularly because this is awesome to always do a show at. But I don't know. It was one of those things where I was like, we talked about this. When did we talk? Who did I talk about this with? I have too many good conversations to really remember who all I talked to about stuff. It was Razul on Liquid Lunch the other day, where we talked about beer trends happen so fast.
You should tell me about it.
It's like I think 100 years ago was like Pilsners were like still the new thing, and it was this amazing. Like people just dove in on that for I don't know however long when Pilsner was invented until the craft beer.
Until like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. And you really had time to dive in and like what is a good Pilsner, and then they go through the mass market stuff. They did their damage, but as far as like really diving in on a style and understanding the nuance of the different hops and water chemistry and all that kind of stuff, right? It was the slow moving development of that style, and people really were able to dive in on it and really mull it over. And now styles are so quick or whatever that I don't know that we really get to hang out in the spot and really 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 enjoy it.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think that I've heard so many people say, "Oh, don't order that. You've already had that." It's like, okay, cool, but I mean, I get it. There's a million things out there to drink, but just because for one, not all of those million things are all that good. I'm not saying that. I think the quality of American craft beer is great comparatively to especially where I thought it was. I have no idea how all these people could just spring up from pretty much maybe not out of nowhere, but from obscurity and start making great beer. To me, it's I've worked very hard for a very long time and been doing this for a long time, and it's still tough.
Yeah.
So, but I think, it's, to me, you don't even get to say hi to a beer unless you've had a pint.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to know a beer until you've had a lot of pints.
Yeah.
And then it finds a special spot in your heart after you've had 100 pints, and it's just like, I mean, I realize, so many beers, so little time, but I think that you're exactly right. I think we just fly past beer styles, and what's really strange to me is the people that are super into like slow food, are into fast beer. And it's just like, it's gone. It's like, that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It will continue to evolve, and I think that just like everything, it goes in fits, and it'll come back to where people will get to explore those beers again and find their favorites.
Yeah, it's the culture as a whole. When you think about like outrage culture, we were just talking about being woke or whatever.
Yeah.
When you think about what people are really upset about, it lasts for about a day, maybe 3 days or whatever, unless Trump retweets again or one,
then, and then everybody's
But it's only as long as until the next tweet or whatever, and it's are people really upset, or are they just it's like reactionary but like I don't know, the news stories and the news cycle, everything's so fast, and it's the same way, and I hate that it's like that in beer. I mean, yes, we've had a lot of really good beers come out, but I mean we've had a lifetime of beers in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Or
big time. Yeah.
And it's just, that was kind of the thing I was thinking of when I was driving up here. Same thing with this podcast. Like, I'm just now getting proficient at doing conversation. It's like, and you have the, last episode was at Astral with Alex, and that's my first conversation with him. That's the first time I ever met him, and that was a fun conversation. We talked a lot about Mad Cow, and that's who doesn't love to talk about Mad Cow,
right.
But now
brain parasites.
Yes, brain parasite. That's like
Menudo.
I talk about Menudo over Menudo. I think Jalisco delivers maybe, or Grub Hub or whatever.
But the best thing is, like, I don't know how many episodes we've done here between this and the other show, and
it's been a lot. And we even did one from home one time, all collectively, which was fun.
Yeah, and it takes all of those to really you get comfortable with the person and like get past the all right, what's your background, and all that's good. And I love having that, and that's kind of like I think of it as like a time capsule of audio history of the Houston like Ronnie put out his book however many years ago that was, but you go read that book now and it's like there's only 10 breweries in this.
I know, it's so outdated.
And then Omar just saunters in his salmon colored shorts.
Yeah.
Just looking,
master of salmon shorts.
I know, just looking slim and fit. He's looking slim and fit, man. He's giving the thumbs up.
Okay. He also was giving me. Oh, he was Cougs.
Go Cougs.
To me, this means something different.
I'll get at you later. Doc. Is he coming over here? Is he going to be able to sit down?
Yeah, sit down right there.
He's gonna be
Did
able
you
to sit
go?
down.
Okay, are you coming over? Are you hanging out? I mean, we always have a mic. No, not an interruption. A bonus.
You have to. The only prerequisite for joining this podcast, you got to bring us beer.
I can bring you beer.
I just made that up, but
Here, get comfortable and set the mic, and then give me the thumbs up when you're ready.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, is that good? I'm going to turn you down. You want to adjust that?
Oh, sure.
I mean, I'll turn it down while you do that. Just get cozy. Kick your shoes off. Cool. Anyway, so that's the thing. It's like, I come up here and get to know everybody and come visit, on my own time and not have to do the show. And it takes a while to get to know. It's like the familiarity, and I think that breeds better conversation and that sort of thing. And I was thinking, the joke is everybody has a podcast. It's like, hey, have you heard my podcast? Because it's like over the last few years, everybody's put out a podcast, which is great.
yeah.
But it takes a while to get comfortable.
It's like podcasts too. I mean, not all of them are good.
Yes.
Because I've discovered podcasts and started really listening to them like for 4 years now. I've been really into them, and to where I listen to them almost exclusively when I'm driving around. And you find the ones that you really, really enjoy, but you go through a lot of them that you're like, this isn't all that good, because you realize it's like anybody can start one.
Yes.
And
that's good.
It is good,
But there's the other side. There's
big time.
It's like how Dr. Phil says, doesn't matter how flat you make a pancake, there's still two sides. That's
Yeah, I'm starting a podcast too. Actually,
I want to take this. I want to take this time to announce I also am starting a podcast. I'm not.
I'm starting a third podcast actually.
There you
Mike's got two himself. Are you seriously starting a podcast?
yeah,
Good.
It's not going to be beer related. It's called.
I can endorse it. But no, I'm just kidding.
After the kids go to bed, and so when as the kids go to bed, parents talk about certain things, and so we're going to discuss faith, family, beer, how we raise our kids, homeschool stuff, and so it's going to be.
Is it just going to be you and the wife?
Well, she doesn't want to do it, but she will do it because she's extremely introverted. And I'm like, hey, what if we did this? She goes, what if we didn't?
No, that's the great thing about podcasts. You get to be an introvert, but then you just get to hide behind a microphone.
Seriously,
it's great.
Yes,
I love it.
You absolutely. So if you from any standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I will. Yeah, let me know if you. I mean, I'm sure you've got you're probably.
I don't have anything yet for it because I've just got the.
He's
going to
steal your microphone when he leaves here. He's like,
expensive.
I have these two things now.
that I didn't have before.
What James Simpson said to do is go to your music store and then get the stuff and then go online to Amazon to see if it's cheaper.
You know what you could do? You could go to either liquidlunchshow.com/Amazon or interbrews.com/Amazon and help
Sell
support
things.
Well, we just have a link that goes to Amazon that if you buy something using that link, it
Have you
kicks
got
us
any
back.
money off of that?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Then I shall do that.
It's funny. I listened to this one. It's a metal. It's not really a podcast. It's like a 4-hour metal radio show. But he puts on podcasts, and they're always talking. They're like, according to this, they owe us like $4 million. We haven't seen anything. So.
Well, they'll okay. So it's not much because I don't think that many people think to use the link.
Yeah.
Most people use the app on their phone. At least that's what I do.
Well, you can link it too through that. I think once you do it in your settings, because I was gonna do it, and then I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna. If I'm gonna give this money to somebody, why would I give it to a radio show in Portland, Maine, or wherever it is,
yeah,
like New Hampshire?
A lot
or
of people
whatever,
do
you know?
it. It does help though. But it's not. We haven't gotten much. But we paid for cable replacement and little
Perfect.
stuff. Yeah. So
Perfect,
it's,
yeah.
it's a cool little like when I get it every like a month. Once a month I'll get like a $10 little like here's a gift card for Amazon. I
Cool.
use it just for the podcast.
Well, that's perfect.
Well, and that's the great thing about technology is because there's certain things that I'm in marketing and sales, and so my brain is always thinking in a creative way. I can't play the guitar like Dave does. I can't play the drums. I can't do anything constructive, but I can talk a lot. That's one of the things that God has given me a gift. Preaching, whether it's that or comedy, whatever. I'm like, you know what? I need to do something else at night. Let's do a podcast once a week and see what, so.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what else I need to do at night? Sleep.
Yeah. Now it's early. If you can get past that initial, I don't know. Most people don't make it past 10 episodes.
If you can make it past 100, you're good, right?
Yeah. What I've learned is that if you can get to 200, it's more of an addiction than it's more of like I'm just doing it now. I don't, I've got, the Amazon links, the Patreon page, and I'll sell a sponsorship, if somebody wants to buy it, but I'm going to do it either way. I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it.
I think it's very cool what just I know people just on Patreon sometimes, but I think what a cool way to support the things that you like that. I mean, it's like $1. You can afford $1. It's,
I don't because
I can't afford $1. I've got 4 daughters, man.
It's true. Well, start a Patreon page. You might need GoFundMe for $4.
A never-ending GoFundMe just for diapers and formula.
Dude, yeah. Seriously, if you could, I don't know, if you could figure out a way for somebody to, you need like another account for the Amazon thing and order everything up. Like we're past diapers and formula, and I was asking my wife last
It only gets worse.
Dude, we were at a volleyball camp for my daughter yesterday, and it's all middle school girls, so just 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls. Just have a gym full of this female energy. They're all just like, woo! It's like this is kind of cool, but super intimidating at the same time. And I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible because I can't handle it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was like, Kelly, do we have a go bag? She's like, for what? And I was like, okay, there's a lot of feminine energy in here. It may trigger some things, developmentally speaking, you know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, you mean for a period? I'm like, yeah.
I don't know if it works that way. Oh, like I don't know that you can take one girl and then put it next to another girl. Okay, go period. I mean, like I don't know that it transfers that way.
Yeah, no, it's like it's like apple trees grafting. One
A
period.
wind blows and
Man, this conversation's gone a really weird direction.
well, he and I have daughters, so it's not that
It
way.
went carp,
Yeah,
fireman,
podcast.
Period.
Yeah.
We talked about beer there for a little bit.
We'll get back to the beer in a second. No, but see, that's the thing. It's like we're on the edge. It's like you can tell something's. There's emotions.
Oh yeah, no, I've got a 14-year-old son,
just out of nowhere,
and it's just like, what what are you doing? These fights about nothing, and you're just like
the attitude that pops up. Out
oh
of
my
nowhere.
God, I'm just like,
you were so sweet 5 minutes ago,
what
and now
is
you're
going
the worst.
on? But then it's also the reconciliation. It's like I've got great kids, and they think about stuff, and then they text you or you text them, and they're like, "No, I'm the one that's just be sorry, I was being a jerk."
Yeah,
so it's just like,
cool.
but that's part of growing.
You really haven't harnessed the guilt yet, because as a Christian, I'm pretty good about guilt sometimes. Like, Well,
I don't
first-
use guilt. I use power.
Well, like,
to
first
be
up,
honest,
you know-
like I'm like, and by power I mean I take their power cords away from all their electronics, and that's my tip as a dad. I do that. I give that tip out for free.
Yeah.
You want to get your kids to do what you want them to do. Literally, you have the power. That's the power cords. Let them look at their Xbox. Don't take their Xbox away. Look at it, and they're going to be like, man, I can't even turn that on. I have a power cord because you've got the power cord, and it's symbolic and everything. You're like,
I
yes,
have the power.
But it's good. Pro tip: combine the two. You know, in a pinch, be like, "I'm sorry that I had to do this, but the choices you made
There you go.
compel me to have to take the power cord. I want you
Whoa,
to
yeah,
enjoy the Xbox and your phone.
That's a Dr. Phil and Yoda at the same
Yeah.
time.
Bad decisions you made.
I think Dr. Phil is the modern, or maybe the Yoda of the past. I guess. Or, I don't know.
You do a great Dr. Phil voice. Can you do a Dr. Phil Yoda impersonation?
Let's see.
Happy in the same pants you're going to have to get. That you got mad and you got.
That's probably an ongoing character that needs to work.
Amazing.
You have to put the finger under the
God,
nose,
yes.
even though I've got.
You know, it's funny. It's like we
Yeah.
had mustache. We had mustache November. This last November, and I had this mustache, and I felt pretty. I was starting to get comfortable in it, and my dad and my my oldest son, he looks at me just like, I mean, we're most of the way through November. He goes, "Dad, I can't take anything you say seriously. You look like Dr. Phil." And I looked at him. I said, "Ian, do you know how that makes me feel?" And then I went and shaved my mustache off.
Listen, Dr. Phil, I would hang out with Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil's cool. I listened to the Rogan one with Dr. Phil on it.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil's all right.
Yeah.
He's funny, actually.
He is. He's really funny, and he's very smart.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he's been doing it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to be
Yeah.
doing something for a long time. Like,
He's a doctor, so I guess there's that.
Yeah. I mean, like what? PhD? Not like a medical doctor.
Oh, he's just a PhD. It's
Yeah.
all
You
right.
don't. You don't want to have like a blood clot in front of him, but it's like, oh, what I do, I get my. It's
I
like,
don't have a blood clot in front of anybody.
I can let you know how you can emotionally handle this situation.
Just take a deep breath and relax.
What anger issues led you to get that blood
That's
clot?
right. Yeah, like how you do that, even though you have facial hair already.
No, yeah. Look, it's because I want you to look.
But you have to channel the
Yes.
inner
Oh,
Dr.
yeah,
Phil.
This is where I
Yeah.
keep my Dr. Phil. Is in
Right.
my
Yeah,
left,
it's a Dr. Phil
my
finger.
left pointer
Right,
finger.
your left pointer finger.
But yeah, I think back to the thing. I think the ultimate power is the guilt plus the power combined, like a parental Captain Planet by your powers combined.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Guilt's so dangerous. You know,
No,
'cause then you can
it's-
warp your kids with guilt. You know.
Now, but what you do is, what I do is when my kids start to whine, and my wife is ruthless. Like, she hates the TV anyway, and so if they start complaining, like, what do you get when you complain? Nothing. And we're not Democrats. I'm just kidding. But also, too, like, obey your parents in the Lord and they'll finish it off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying for... This is right. And so that enables me to harness both. If they want to watch Peppa Pig and call me cheeky one more time, then they have to do the things
Muddy
I am.
puddles. She just put out an album, apparently.
What, Peppa Pig?
Yeah. It just
No.
dropped like a couple weeks ago.
Never listening to it.
Maybe they'll do a metal version of it.
I doubt it.
Somebody will take that and do a metal. There's on YouTube. There's a channel where somebody takes every song and does a metal version of it.
I like it when they do the metal songs and do like Radio Disney versions of that.
Yes.
Like Angel of Death done Radio Disney is awesome.
It's YouTube. I don't know how we ever survived.
I
without
don't
it.
either. I was like,
People had these concepts like, oh, you could take that song and do it this way.
they were like, Shaw, and then they make it, and it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Omar's breaking the first rule of podcasting.
Actually, that's number 3. I don't know what the first 2 are.
I thought number 3 was take off your pants.
That's number 2.
Okay. So.
Number 1 is this side of the mic. Don't
Oh, okay. Yeah.
or hit record actually is probably
number 1.
number 1. I've broken that rule before.
Yeah, I did a whole podcast one time, and it didn't record, so we had to do it all over again. And that one didn't record either. Then we had to do the third one, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to say because I was like, I don't want to.
Do you want to throw that podcast under the bus?
No, I don't, because they were very, very friendly people. But I was just like, by the third one, I was like, I gotta get back to work.
How long was the podcast?
It was like an hour. The first one was, and the second one we pared down like 45 minutes. The third one they got maybe 25 out of me, and I was like, I gotta go.
How do you not? Wow. How do you?
The girl was using new equipment and hadn't fully figured it out yet, and I get it because sometimes I go hunting with new equipment and I like this gun does, and then it's gone. So
well, there's no bullets or something in it. That's a really bad analogy.
I don't know. Why is it not working?
Yeah,
I mean,
guns are like weird. I mean, you gotta have everything right for them to work, and or going fishing is like, oh well, there. I didn't know you had to do that with that, right?
Yeah, that's why I recommend Omar standalone recorder like this. This
is it.
It'll never crash.
I can look at that from this side and say that's Tascam something or other.
DR40.
There you go.
And the big DR40.
Yeah, they're not making this particular model anymore. They have like the X or the Z or the something. It's not as.
Do you think podcasts are the '80s like ham radio? You know how like everyone had a ham radio. Oh, there's a break record. This is coming back now.
No, I don't because these are embedded in history. I mean, these are you're making, like what you said, they're time capsules. You're capturing time capsules, and some of them are very interesting to go back and listen to. You go in a deep dive and go back and listen to podcast from 4 years ago, and you take a snapshot of what things were like right now.
Yeah, sure.
And it's before you're having conversations, but nobody was recording them. And most for good reason, because most of them were just banter back and forth. And some what we're doing is banter back and forth too. But we're talking about we're talking about current events and important stuff, and beer historians, because there's gonna be such a thing.
Yeah,
there already is.
Yeah.
But they'll go back and look through all this.
So in 50 years, it's gonna sound like it did back in the. So what you're trying to say is, yeah, Shane.
Seriously, I mean, it probably will, because we're
It's Southern Star Company brews a beer, and then found today Fougeron.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
There, Fougeron. Look at him go.
Look at him go.
Look at him go. As the steam wafts up, oh my goodness. He's got a steamy face. He's a steamy face man. I don't know.
We can go a lot for that. I can just drag that out anyway.
No, it's... Yeah, I don't like to... Yeah, that's the thing. There's like the conversations where there's too much about conversating about the conversation. Like, what's the guy? Dave Rubin. He does that a lot.
Yeah.
He does some good shows, but then he talks about... It's like too much of, let's talk about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this conversation's happening. And that's like the whole podcast. I'm like, all right, just talk about
Put down your bong.
But yes, when we talk, going back and listening to our first episode over at the old brewery, and like you're talking about what you're going to do. And we got these plans for a new brewery.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and then you can fast forward to this
are.
episode or the next 5 episodes you do. We do.
This is the one that me and Heather talked about, who built the moon for. We're like, those people are insane.
Yeah, no, we did talk about that, right? Space is fake.
Oh yeah. We had a whole long conversation about it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done.
But and then I love the fact that there's the different podcasts about different things. So like. Here we talk about beer mostly, and whatever it touches. But you're in the beer industry, but then you talk about other stuff. Like I don't listen to that many beer podcasts. Every once in a while, like a homebrew podcast to get some technical kind of stuff. But I like to get my brain onto other stuff and then bring that
absolutely
into this.
Yeah.
So like I listen to Rogan and comedy podcasts.
Yeah.
A lot of pro wrestling podcasts, unfortunately.
That's
like
right. Hey,
old school wrestling.
Everybody gets their stuff,
Yeah, it's like, it's nostalgic stuff.
Yeah.
Like and the cool part about that is like what was going on behind the scenes when this happened. Because those moments on the show, like those Monday night shows, where as a kid, I was like 17, 18, watching that happen. That was my whole world. Like, oh my gosh, did you see what happened on wrestling? Like, call my friends, like, yeah, I can't believe that happened. And then you go back and you hear what was actually going on behind the scenes. Because, it's all the work. So they scripted and they produced it and how they came up with that idea. And, that guy was, that's when he was, way deep in alcoholism.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's all strung out on cocaine. And
now look at him. He's got, he found, DDP yoga, and now he's got his life back together. Talking about Scott Hall. But anyway, it was like, just amazing stuff. And like, we've got some really good pro wrestlers that live in Houston. Booker T, Bruce Pritchard. I don't like these big names. Like they were all in on that, living in Houston.
I watched Glow back in the 80s, so I didn't really follow
gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Big bad, and they were anything but gorgeous.
There's something. I mean,
Beauty is in the eye.
I'm sorry if this sounds a little misogynistic, but there's something alluring about watching women fight each other. There really is. It's like my wife would be like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Hang on a minute. I'm watching two ladies in leotards beat the shit out of each other. At least pretend to." You know?
Yeah. There's something about it. I'll be honest with you. I like women's UFC fighting too.
Yeah, I do too, and it disturbs me that I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, it's good fights.
It disturbs me that we even watch people fighting, but that's just me. It's like I'm like anti-violent, you know. So it's like, I mean, I know what happens, but I found myself watching some MMA.
Somebody's phone. You hear that?
That's Omar's.
Are you getting a message?
No.
Maybe it's this one. Let's see.
Every time something technical goes on, I point to Omar.
That's still
Point to
there.
the Pakistani man. It's not always my fault.
I'll just start unplugging stuff and see what happens.
There you go.
It's gone. I don't know what you did.
No. Did I? Is it gone?
No, it's gone.
This was acting as an antenna.
Where was that at?
It was in the headphone or send or something. I don't know.
Good
Weird.
Weird. Learned something new. See?
Yeah, there you go. When in doubt, take the adapter out.
Yeah.
That's
Print that T-shirt.
Yep.
Just get back to simplicity.
That's right.
No, we don't need adapters. Our
You
glasses
know what we
are-
do need?
More beer?
Yeah.
God, they'll never know we paused it, Mike.
I know.
Damn, I did it again. Oh, every single time. Not that we took a break, but we did take a break. But now we're back with the
Texas Golden Bach.
Golden Bach, which is a
Golden Bach.
delicious beer. Is this a classic? Bach was the first.
I'll tell you all the truth.
Okay, well, I was going to say Bach is the first of the
Composers. No?
That's different. That's a B-A-C-H. I'm talking B-O-C-K.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought that's where you're going with
No. Although,
Oh, there's the thing.
I know.
You're holding it in your hand.
I know, right?
Okay.
It's weird. So I got magical powers. No, the Bach was the first of the beer style books that I read.
Oh, okay.
Because it was free when you signed up for the
Good book, too.
either Homebrewers Association or
Mhm.
something. Yeah, probably that.
Good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good book. That was one of the first ones I read too. I've got like the it's got to be like the first edition one. Yeah, it's like, it looks completely different. You know, the old school ones are different than the way they look now.
Yeah.
But
I need to go back and redo some of those. Like
you know,
the Continental Pilsner.
They do. They need to go back and redo them. But I think that should be anybody that is a home brewer. That should be required reading.
Yeah.
For I say that, but then then what we're talking about. By the time you get done reading the book, the style's changed. So it's it's one of those things too. But
yeah, but like the Pilsner one was written in like 94, 95. So it's.
But I mean,
like, is the guy? I don't even know if the guy that wrote it's still alive.
but it's still valid.
Sure.
I mean, it's like, yes, you could put addendums to it, but I mean, he's telling you how to make Pilsner,
Yeah.
the way that they made it before, and I took a real deep dive into that book and a few others. I just for fun, I made, there's a recipe, I think it's in that one, that has you do like this ridiculous, like 6-step decoction,
Yeah.
and it was like this original way to do Pilsner. So I was like, you know what, just for giggles, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to waste 12 hours
Yes.
today and do that.
That's what Mike and I were talking about. That
And I
for
did
the sake of doing it.
and I did for doing it. And the final product of it was so incredibly dry and stripped out that there was nothing left. There was like no sugars left in it at all. It all like fermented because I'd taken every strand of carbohydrate and turn it into a simple sugar, I think, and it was just gone, and I realized, well, yeah, that was probably for doing malt that was super under modified, and it probably would have been pretty good, but I was a little pissed when I did it, and I was just like, this beer sucks, because I was just like, because I'm a big fan of, I've never made it a secret that I'm a big fan of decoction mashing. I think that it adds stuff, but that's kind of the caveat. You do double, triple decoctions now, and the malt's so modified, it's almost too modified to do decoction mashing.
Yeah. Well, can you find non-modified malt?
You can.
Freeze for feed or something?
I think that, no, I think it's brewer's malt. I think that
Okay.
Chip uses it at Live Oak.
Okay.
I think. Or under modified malt. Because he's a big believer in decoction too, and it's probably because I haven't really talked to him too much, but it might be because he found that it strips it out. If you use those over modified malts, the the original home brewers and not home brewers, but the original craft brewers mantra, pretty much, that I've always heard is there's no need to do decoction mashing. The malt's super modified now and then into the line. And I buy that, but there's no reason to brew a cup of coffee out of fresh ground beans. There's Folgers instant crystals.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yes, they're there. It's coffee, but
well, it's not the same thing.
No,
clearly,
it's not. And you get certain flavors and textures and profiles out of doing decoction mashing.
Yeah.
So I've always been fascinated with it. One of the reasons that I love our Oktoberfest so much is because we do a decoction mash on it.
It's for me, and I'm completely biased saying this, but we do have the best Oktoberfest in the market.
It's good.
And
I'm biased too, but I would agree. It's like I love our Oktoberfest, and I think it's because we take the extra time to use. There's nothing fancy about our Oktoberfest. It is straight traditional. It's got 3 grains in it, and it's got 3 grains and 1 hop, and it takes all day to brew. One batch of it because you do this decoction, so it's energy inefficient. It's a pain in the ass to make. You waste a whole lot of time doing it, and it's expensive. But the end result, I think it's worth it. It's just nice.
But I think when you try our Oktoberfest, and if you're in the beer community or if you follow German styles of beer, it's what you think when you want to drink an Oktoberfest. Because there's so many Oktoberfests that I try, I'm like, it's not what I wanted. It's not that caramely. It's not that mouthfeel that I want.
And then there's some that are way too caramely. That are like, it's like, to me, this is my personal opinion. I'd never put caramel malt in an Oktoberfest. To me, that's why you do decoction. If you're putting caramel malt in an Oktoberfest, you're cheating.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like, I call them cheater malts. And they have caramel malts definitely have their place for different things, and that's my personal opinion. And I'm sure that opinions are like a-holes. So but every there's some fighting words to some people, but whatever. I'm here. I got the microphone, so
They can wait to their own episode.
they can wait to their own episode and they can refute me.
I would love to do we did this at the very.
If you want to refute me, bring your Oktoberfest. Let's go.
No, seriously, I would love to do.
Pepsi challenge.
Yes, well, we did that early on before we even knew what we were doing. This was pre-Mike. This is pre-InterBrews. This was back when we were still calling it the Bars and Tone podcast, and I don't even know that we recorded that. I don't know where the audio is for that episode.
The what podcast?
Bars and Tone, because we were all on TV. So Bars and Tone, like, bars,
I see.
bars
Okay.
and Tone.
It's after the parents go to bed.
Yeah.
Bars and Tone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they don't sign off.
I saw that in Mexico. I was like, holy crap.
They just video it.
they just
Where's
do
the rotary phone?
I'm going to call my rotary phone and call them up and complain.
They just do the infomercials.
There's going to be nobody there. You remember, you're all old enough to remember, when you signed off and the rocket ship goes and they showed, the blast off to the moon or something.
Yeah, that was my first TV job.
Mine was the
I worked that
American
ship.
flag.
That's awesome.
kind
Yeah.
of faded
Sometimes
off
they
in
do
the
that too.
background.
Yeah.
We would do at the station in Arkansas that I worked at. We would do Nightline. What was it? Ted Koppel.
Oh yeah, Ted Koppel.
Ted Koppel and his. I don't think that's real hair.
Oh, Arkansas. So it was right after Hee Haw.
Man.
Now he hauls on Saturdays, Omar, or Sundays. Actually, Sunday afternoon. Every
Thank you for laughing, brother. Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
I used to love watching that fat girl play a jug.
Oh, Minnie.
Yeah, I guess.
No. Minnie Pro was the old lady. What was her name?
I don't know. But
I don't remember the big gal's name.
I love
She had her
Hee
own
Haw.
thing going on though.
Oh yeah.
And then the Mandrell sisters. The youngest one was the one on Hee Haw. My first ever concert was not Barbara. What was the other one? Louise Mandrell in Branson, Missouri.
You were born old, weren't you?
Yeah, see, he was born in the 1920s.
We're not up to Branson. Oh yeah. So that was the first thing. Yeah, we did the song. We would do. It was like a Nightline, followed by I think Politically Incorrect. We had that off of tape. With Bill Maher, his first show back in the day, and then we would do. There was like the little old chapel in the woods, something they recorded back in probably like the early 70s. It was just this picture of a church, and they would read a sermon on the audio sound like this, and the Lord says unto you, and then
Man, you're bringing back memories.
but the audio was horrible. And we play that, and then we would do the Star Spangled Banner, and then da 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 da, and then that's it. That was it.
So you described every Gen X's first experience of TV radio.
yeah, that was it. It was
Then fast forward to Pearl Jam and and everything else. You still couldn't understand Eddie Vedder.
No, he's probably the grandson of the guy that did the little old church in the woods.
I mean, I think he's saying Jeremy broke in yesterday. I still don't know what he's talking about.
I always thought you were saying glorified virgin on a pelican. I was like, Virgin Mary flying on a pelican? What's I'm going to close my eyes. That's what I see. It's like, that doesn't make any sense any better.
When Adam Sandler did the opera man, was it opera guy, opera man?
Yo, yeah.
On Saturday Night Live, he did Even Flow. It's like, I made of concrete. Whatever. It's like, I still don't know what the lyrics are. And I've got Amazon Prime Music where I can read the lyrics, and I still, because I'm always driving, I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
And Lex is like, I'm sorry, I don't speak a third language.
Alexa, she sometimes works.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I yell at mine, actually.
Mine just randomly comes on every once in a while and says something. I'm like, you're not part of the family, Alexa. Get back in your box. I'm going to be the first people that the robots kill when they take over the world.
There was a story that just came out to where people that worked at Apple were saying, Siri records. They hear people's arguments all the time. And, the people at Amazon are like, we hear people having sex all the time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Creeps.
Yeah. But whatever. It's like, we're married. You can listen. It's fine.
Listen, whatever.
No, it's not fine.
It's fine.
That's
a man and his wife making love. That's a good example to set.
We were so concerned about
it's like 3 minutes
collusion and people like Big Brother. Now we don't care about having sex in front of Alexa. People can hear us. That's weird.
Hearing
it? Weird.
No, it's
weird.
the way it's like the Song of Solomon. I'm like
showing,
it? Yeah, like this is the proper way to do it.
So do you do your Dr. Phil impression and sing Even Flow?
You're tempted, are you?
I'm gonna have to work on that one.
Yeah,
by myself.
That's okay. You don't have to.
No, I can't. Yeah, it's maybe too many layers, like a flaky biscuit.
That's right.
Can you get too many layers on a flaky?
I don't
biscuit?
think so.
I don't think so. So not like a flaky biscuit. Let's talk about this beer.
All right.
I'm trying to.
30 minutes later.
Yes. Nothing wrong with a man and a woman.
Nope.
Making love, but let's talk some love of this beer.
So
you said
this beer, this beer last year we made it, and we said let's make a tribute to the godfather of Texas beer. Period. Shiner Bock.
Yeah.
So I said let's I think there's a difference between like trying to like weasel into the market and rip them off, Carbach, or
yes.
Well, I mean, it is funny. When was the last time you seen Ziegenbach? Crickets.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
been a while. I guess ever since
Crawford Bach.
Crawford.
Yeah. Wake up, people.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
is it just the same beer? Like,
I don't know. I actually haven't drank any Crawford Bach.
I don't drink any beers. I haven't had any since they've.
I want to try it just to see what it is. Yeah. I've heard mixed reviews, of course. In this day and age, who doesn't? But anyway, back to our beer. We wanted to kind of make a tribute to Shiner Bock and pay homage to that. So this beer is not a traditional Bock at all, and Shiner Bock's not a traditional Bock at all, and Crawford Bock's not a traditional Bock at all. They're pretty much lagers with some color in them. Yeah. I mean, they're American lagers with color. So we made this batch of beer, and we put we use this trick sometimes and put debittered Carafa. Usually, I don't know, for dorking out on homebrewers out there. And generally what we'll do is we'll let the mash convert, and then we'll throw all the carafa on top of the mash and just sparge, just to get the color and maybe a little bit of flavor, but none of the bitterness, none of it at all.
Okay.
So we did, and this came out, and we were like, what are we going to do? I was like, that doesn't look like a Bock. What are we going to do? I was like, surly, I said, it's called a Golden Bock. So that's how this came out, and it's cool because I mean, it tastes Bockish.
Yeah,
I mean, as far as Texas Bockish, because I mean, it's a Texas Bock, which Shiner Bock single-handedly created.
Yeah,
the style, but now it's a thing, and it's just it's a lighter version. I mean, it's not dark, but it's also not bright. It's golden, so it's a Golden Bock.
When they first made that, was it ever like a traditional Bock, or was it?
I don't know.
Long. They've been around a long
Yeah,
time.
I mean, back when I was, starting homebrewing, they were, I learned about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's got corn in it.
Yeah.
This does. So you got corn and rice. It's got adjunct in it, and the rumor was, they just make Shiner. Back then it was called Shiner Premium, and put caramel color in it, which that's maybe what they do. I don't know. I don't know what they do, but it's darker than this. Since then, I mean, there's coloring agents, like there's Environment makes a thing called Cinnamar that just pretty much colors it. It's malt based, so it's still Reinheitsgebot if you want to go that way. We don't put caramel color in it, but we just use roasted barley, put it on top of it. Obviously we should have used a little more. But to me, I think if we had used a little bit more of the roasted barley, it might not have tasted as good as this does. So I'm really happy with this beer, but this beer is one of the few beers that's kind of been a happy accident that we've had. Usually our beers are very much planned out, and this one was too, and it worked on the test batch, but on this, I guess the ratios and the mash geometry didn't work out as much, because when that came out, I was like, that's not brown.
It's more amber. Golden.
So it was. I was like, okay, we're gonna call it Golden Bock. And what was really cool about it is, in the Texas label approval takes a while, but this beer takes a while to make too. So I would just apply for label approval. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just call it Golden Bock, and then we got label approval for it. So
they don't ever ask. Yeah. What do you mean when the label people are never like, what do you mean by Golden Bock?
No, they don't care. They're like, give me my $25 and make sure that I'm surprised it's not more than that.
Has that gotten any better?
No, and it's
same
not,
poor gal, just the one gal.
Yeah, and it's not TABC's fault. It's like I was at a summit. It was a manufacturer summit that TABC put on when they brought the new administration out. Super cool, super informative. Met the new TABC administration from the head down. Amanda wasn't there, the label approval lady. Before that, there was another person before that. I think she finally just gave up and said, I quit, or she moved someplace. Yeah. But he explained that General Nettles, the new guy that's the head of the TABC, he explained, he was like, look, because everybody brought it up and they were pissed. They were, how come it takes 6 weeks to get label approval? And he said, look, we only have a finite amount of resources. And he said in May, and this was back in, March. He said in May we're going to move 5 people over from another division. We're going to knock that list down, but it's going to go right back up again in June, because I'm pulling those 5 people away from what they're supposed to be doing, and that's going to suffer. And apparently the only way that they get more, they can't just ask for more people, because it all goes back to how everything works through the legislature. It's super complicated. What they're going to do is they're going to drop the alcohol requirements for label approval, pending that passed in this last legislative session, or actually in the sunset review. So they're no longer going to require the parameters for label approval. I mean, if you've got a certificate of label approval from the TTB, that will suffice. And theirs are a little bit, you still have to pay your fee, but they're pretty much just rubber stamp it. Because a lot of other things are going away too. You don't have to have beer and ales going away. Even beer and ale manufacturing licenses will be consolidated in one. They're taking like 61 licenses and paring them down to 13. It's really crazy. Yeah. So it's going to be a mess, because it's been a mess, and it's not their fault. It's, to me, the more I work in this industry, the more I understand the struggles that the TABC has, and the more sympathy I have, in a manner of speaking, for what they're trying to do. And I wholeheartedly believe in this new administration that's there. The old administration was terrible. Yeah. And this new administration is leaps and bounds better. That's they're still going to do sting operations, and they should. Yeah. They should go in and make sure. I mean, as stupid as I think a 21 year old drinking age, you know what? I don't think it's stupid for our society. Yeah. I used to. Our society is not nearly as mature as a German society. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we eat Tide Pods and like ice cream.
Yeah, we don't set very good standards for ourselves.
The bar's not set real high for convincing.
It's really not. I think in a culture to where everything's forbidden and you can't, you're not supposed to do, this until you're 21, and then it's magical. I mean, they're, I don't know. I understand that the laws are the laws, and they try to enforce them, and they need to do everything they can to enforce them.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be some, if not, it'd be a Wild West out there, and Karbach would own everything. And they've changed a lot of their for instance, they've changed, they're putting a lot of focus now on human trafficking, which
TABC.
Yeah, and because for the sole reason is most of the human trafficking in Texas
It's done by Karbach.
is done by Karbach.
No,
Yes.
that's not
Yes,
fair.
it is.
Come
No, I'm
on.
just kidding.
Come on.
It happens
it.
in their warehouse. No, it happens at bars.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay. You know what?
And
That's-
and unfortunately most of the human trafficking here happens with young Hispanic girls, and it happens in Latino bars.
Could
Which-
you share this entire podcast with TABC, please? Because I don't think they hear a lot of that.
No, I mean, it's
honestly.
and I'm not saying that to appease them,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying Latino bars because it's their fault. That's reality. That's what it is. And since Texas is a border state,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on. And political views aside, nobody ever is going to say child exploitation and the sale of human beings is the right thing to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I think everybody can agree on that's a problem, and I'm super glad that that somebody's taking that to task and taking care of that, because, like I said, we can disagree on a lot of stuff. We talked about, how people's attention span's only, a day long, but that's something that everybody, can agree on. And
Yeah.
I think that it's really cool that they're doing that.
No, yeah, please, keep doing that for sure. It's that's one of those things that's tough to wrap your mind around if you're tucked away in your your neighborhood and your little knit, close knit community, and like, but it's 20 minutes down the road, it's or less.
Yeah. I mean, you're sitting there thinking about, worrying about, and arguing over, the stupid little political things, and 20 miles away from you, I guarantee you, little girls are being sold, and it's it's pretty sobering.
Yeah,
Really is.
yeah. Probably this might be the most serious thing we've ever discussed on this podcast. I mean, for sure.
Well, I know for me and you, but
Yeah. I don't. Yes, please. I'm glad to know that the TABC. So, are they they're not the only agency that?
no, they work with the FBI,
Yeah.
but the FBI is the FBI. They're federal. They don't know, and they don't know the scenes. Like, I mean, look. Again, no matter what you think politically, there's plenty of great people that work in the FBI, but I think that a light's been shown a little bit on the machinations of some of these big, government-run structures, and a lot of you got all these tiers, and you got inefficiencies, and you got politics and stuff like that. And how is a federal agent going to know what bars girls are being sold in?
Yeah, unless they live
close to them or whatever. I mean, they got other stuff to do. They're doing stuff. They got task force, whatever. TABC agents will know that. TABC agents will have, if they're looking for it, they're in those bars all the time.
Yeah.
They have undercover people in those bars all the time. They're looking, and I hope they find every one of them.
Yeah,
I really do.
There's a lot of bars in Houston, though.
There are,
it's a lot.
and
I mean,
that's a lot of there's a lot of bars, and I'm not saying that it only happens in the Latino bars either. It might happen every place else. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, who knows? And that's not the only place it's happening, but unfortunately, people are going to continue to do that. I don't know. I can't even wrap my mind around that. It's like we get lost as Americans, I think, of wondering about what the next iPhone is going to look like or whatever, and we don't realize that
Serious stuff's happening.
Yeah. So it is. It's pretty heavy.
This would be where I would say this would be my selling point. I grew up in a Baptist church in a dry county, and you weren't ever to be seen at the liquor store or in a bar like outside. Like the three in town that had the private, club license or whatever. This would be a compelling argument to tell Baptists, hey, you need to go visit your local bar more. Keep an eye on things.
Keep an eye on things.
Because seriously though, to not know, like, there's places you avoid. But when you avoid things, it's when that underpinning horrible thing can just sit there and be a thing.
Strangely, that point makes sense. But it does.
So good people need to.
They do. Good people need to pay attention. I mean,
Look
I think
out.
we all need to pay attention and look out. I think that. I don't know. I don't want to get into how weird society's gotten over the past, 6 to 8 years, but it's just like, I think that we're so busy, arguing with each other online that we're forgetting the bigger things that are happening, and it's like, and the things that are really important, the things that really matter, the things that everybody can agree on. Because right now nobody can agree on anything, and it's terrifying. So anyway, I didn't mean to heavy it up.
No,
but,
it's fine. It needs to be talked about, and anybody that I don't know, maybe somebody hears it. Maybe somebody's like, you know what? I never thought about my role as a responsible Baptist needing to go have a beer.
Go by yourself so you can have one.
Yeah,
don't bring your friend with you.
Go undercover. Put that mustache on.
No, it's like I probably told the joke on
you can't walk in the bar,
everybody knows it. It's like, how do you keep a Baptist from drinking all your beer on a fishing trip? You invite another Baptist.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's
to be fair, most Baptists haven't seen Footloose yet either, so we'll have to just.
That's Church of Christ.
You mean like you were talking about the greatest movie of all time?
Yeah, apparently, you've seen it a few times.
we watched. I let my girls watch it the other day for the first. That's the cool thing about them getting to be a little older. Middle school. It's like now we can watch some stuff that is a little heavier. We stop it. We explain. All right. So you see how he hit his girlfriend? He's a horrible dude. Now let's get to the dancing. It's like, but the whole thing where he angry dances, he's like frustrated at the world, and he drives his Volkswagen Bug into the warehouse, and he's angry dancing. They thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, as they should, because it is.
I was like, have you ever tried angry dancing? And they were like, no. I was like, watch this. And so I did some angry dancing. It's like, you guys didn't pick up your laundry. And so I started dancing around the living room.
And then they laughed really loud at you. Or did they get scared and run?
No, they laughed. And then I was like, now go pick up your laundry. I'll do it again.
Oh, see, that's good, Dad.
Yeah,
that's good parenting, right?
But that's when all else fails, angry dance.
That's like Dr. Phil and the nanny combined.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty good.
Angry dancing.
Angry dancing.
And the next time if you don't do it, I'll do it in front of your friends. That's
see, now you're bringing shame into the
there's the shame.
There's difference between guilt and shame.
Shame, power.
So InterBrews, interpretive dance.
Yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't. You know what? Yeah, I guess you could label it interpretive.
20 years from now, your kids are going to be trying to untangle all the
It was just raw emotion, Omar. It was just poured into it. I just let it flow through me.
Yeah.
You'll be on the couch. You're like, Dad used to angry dance at us when we.
Listen, Kevin Bacon. We can learn so much from Kevin Bacon.
Very true. I mean, his last name's Bacon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he was in a band with his brother. Still in a band with his brother, I think. And
called the Baconators.
Actually, Bacon Brothers.
Bacon Brothers? Yeah. I was just kidding, but I didn't know that.
Bacon Brothers. You can find it on Amazon. Maybe.
Nope.
And then Tremors.
Tremors, yeah. There's
One
Tremors.
of the best movies ever.
Really?
I mean, it's silly. It's ridiculous. But, I mean, if you like movies about underground.
I never got into Tremors.
Did you ever see the whole thing? Reba McEntire's in it. And the dad from, was it Family Ties? Yeah. Married to Reba.
Okay.
Wow.
It's like the best.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Who else
I
was
remember
in that
Tremors.
movie?
I don't know. Big worms with teeth.
Yeah, and then they made like 8 sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did, and then they probably did like Tremors versus Spiders or something.
I think they're
like
still
that.
pushing them out.
It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of that one car movie. Like now The Rock is in one. It's like Vin Diesel.
Recent one coming out.
Fast and the
coming out?
Furious.
Fast and Furious
Fast?
19.
Yeah.
Good night. And they make fun of Rocky for having all the sequels. It's like that franchise never ends, and it'll end when it stops making money. But now The Rock is involved. It's not gonna.
He's been in it for a while now.
Has he?
I think
he
like
has,
5 movies now.
I would gladly say I've never seen one of them.
I haven't seen one of them either.
You've never
honestly.
even seen the first one?
No.
Back in the day?
I don't watch very many movies. I mean, I
If it was in a book, he'd see it.
if it was in a book, I'd
The
see
book
it.
was way better.
I imagine the book of Fast and Furious 7 was way better than the movie.
No, it's completely for a movie that started about street racing and petty crime. I don't even know if it was it a remake? No, I'm thinking of Gone in 60 Seconds. That was a remake.
I'd see that.
That was the one with Nick Cage. And they remade it from like a 1960s movie.
Imagine he was playing Nick Cage like he does in all of his movies.
Yeah, but it was a guy. It was Nick Cage who steals cars.
But that wasn't a bad movie, though. I didn't mind it.
No, it's fine. Yeah, Fast and Furious 1 was. It was a very 90s. Like, there's some movies that are super, super 90s, and like to really distill down what that is, Fight Club.
It had a harmonica background.
And what was the one with Keanu Reeves on was it Speed?
Yo.
Yeah, and then Speed on a boat. It was like
No, but then he played quarterback.
what's the
in
likelihood of
Patrick-
this happening to me twice?
He's played 2 quarterbacks He was Johnny Utah. in
Johnny
Point Break-
Utah's
in
the
Point
show
Break.
I'm talking about. You
No,
know,
but he was
Point Break's a good movie, though.
great movie.
That's another. See, that was almost an '80s movie made in the '90s. So
Yeah,
it was
it
like,
was-
or was
it's-
that '80s?
it might be like 89, 90.
Yeah, because that's definitely an '80s.
It's the
style
greatest
movie.
surfer bank heist movie
Oh
of
yeah,
all time.
yeah. I'll give you that.
The only?
I don't know.
only?
It's the greatest, bar none. Like I'm going to go out. I don't go out on limbs much and make a lot of proclamations on the spot. I like just let people whatever. Point Break, greatest surfer bank heist movie ever.
There's only one made.
Doesn't matter. It's the greatest one ever.
Just let
It's
it
possibly the worst one ever too.
let it.
depending on how many they've made.
Well, it's been a fun time having this final episode. So.
No, I'm just being it's both the best and the worst. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
so have
I like that movie. I thought the movie was super cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
So have we spoken about some of the stuff and things we're doing here? The 5K this Saturday.
I'll be here.
Really, gonna be here
will
for
be
that?
here.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
The show will be up before then,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
also so. Yes, this Saturday and
We have Oktoberfest coming up September 21st, but September 1st we can sell beer to go, and so
Yes.
and so Dave has stuff and things up his sleeves to sell by growlers, and so we're still in the planning stages of all that mess, and so we're kind of excited about it.
Yeah, and it's funny now. It's like I'm realizing how complicated this is going to be because
Walk in, open the taps, and put in the growler. It's like
No, but I mean, you can't sell more than 288 ounces of beer per day per person. So how are you going to keep track of that? Because I guarantee you, TABC is going to want to know. And so it's like, how do you do all these things?
how do you do that?
And this is a great.
There's going to be some guy with a fake mustache stand right out on the edge of your property, like, "Yee-ha." Let me
See,
get
and,
my-
and if I don't think that TABC is going to be disguised because there's.
no, I'm talking about people wanting to come back and get more beer.
I
We'll
don't
have you
know.
guard against that.
I know. I think that what we're going to do is
Dr. Phil, what are you doing here?
I'm getting my beer. Leave me alone. Oh wait a minute, I got it.
Yeah.
This one
Doesn't matter how much you fill a growler.
That's
You
right.
can always put a little more in.
I think what we're going to have to do is just keep track of, a good example of how the craft beer community still pulls together, even though we're in hand-to-hand combat with each other out in the market. Is I was looking today at the Texas Craft Brewers Guild forum page, and we've been talking about this. It's like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? What are you going to do? And Stephen from Uncle Billy's, Stephen Wagner from Uncle Billy's said, I'm actually been working on a spreadsheet to keep track of all this. I'll be happy to share it with you guys. So, bam. And it's pretty much you see an ID, you have to write down their name, and you write down, pretty much how many ounces they sold. And if they come back in that same day to buy other ounces, it'll tag it to where you say, sorry, I can't sell you this. As long as you have something in place to do that, you're good. TBC's not going to, they might do a sting operation to come in and see if you're following the rules, but they're not going to try to trick you. They're not going to come in like in disguise or whatnot, so, and more importantly, when you get audited, they're going to say, okay, you're following the rules. And, that's important to the TABC to know that, to let them know you've got a system in place to follow the rules that they've set up.
Sure.
And, if you slip every once in a while, that's understandable. But as long as you've got something in place and because nobody's perfect, but if you got something in place to work it, it'll be fine.
Are there any breweries that stay open past midnight? Is that legal?
That's not legal.
Okay, so that's not even an issue. I was going to say,
No,
if
that's
you were
not an
there
issue.
at like 12, you can't sell beer after.
Can't sell beer after 12.
That bothers me.
So what's the max you said? 288 ounces?
Yes, which is a case.
yeah, I hope that one gets overturned.
It's not going anywhere for 12 years because that's part of the deal that they
it's
got
baby
brokered.
steps
The
because
midnight
honestly,
thing, isn't it?
Or maybe it's
Yeah.
9.
For the midnight thing.
No, for the ounce.
Oh no, that one. Okay, yeah, that one not because now you're getting to do it, right?
I mean, to us, I don't really care. 12, everybody's gone anyway.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
we're
like at a
nice.
grocery store, that bothers me. It's like the grocery store's up until 1.
Yeah.
I'm getting my groceries.
I think all those things are stupid anyway. And there was a proposition in the blue laws of alcohol on Sundays, like liquor stores could be open on Sundays too. I don't know if that passed or not.
No, it was
That's
taken
always
out of
been
the
like,
Senate.
you know what, America, do whatever the hell you want to.
America.
that's going
seriously.
to irritate every Specs employee because I get Sundays off.
No, it won't. I guarantee you, who it won't irritate is the people that own Specs,
Sure.
because they're
Yeah.
getting a 1/7 of the revenue that they're
Yeah.
missing out on
Yeah.
on
It's
Sunday. I think it's stupid, But I mean, I'm pretty libertarian, so I'm like, everything stupid should just go away.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to have raw law so we're not in total chaos, but that's dumb.
If they stripped it down to nothing and started over, that would never make it on.
Yeah.
They would just be like, okay, we have laws against drinking and driving. That's a
okay.
big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You have to be a certain age to buy alcohol.
That's a big deal. You can't sell alcohol to somebody that's already visibly intoxicated. That's a big deal.
And
but if I want to buy a bottle of booze at 3:00 on Sunday morning, I should be able to. Yeah. And you know what's funny? I can go to Louisiana and do it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and look at Louisiana. They're fine.
They're fine. They're fine. Yeah.
They're good.
They're fine.
They're doing fine.
I'm pretty sure they're that's not the cause of it.
What is?
I'm blaming everything on meth gators is what I'm blaming on.
That's a thing, right? They're flushing that stuff down the toilet and there's meth gators.
I think that's Kentucky is that did the meth gators
somewhere.
They also
Florida,
dumped
probably.
like thousands of gallons of Jim Beam because
because
it caught on fire.
Yeah,
and so they like put it out and like thousands of gallons of Jim Beam just ran off into the waterway, and the Kentucky TABC or whatever it is, the KABC or whatever it's called, they were like, we have ways of handling this, and we are perfectly confident on what we're doing here. We see this all the time, and we're good. And meanwhile, all this booze is going into the stream, like killing a bunch of wildlife and stuff. Like, okay, now you got meth gators. Awesome,
meth gators.
You have drunk meth gators,
drunken meth gators,
drunk catfish and
and
perch.
Yep,
wasted perch,
barrel aged perch.
Yeah, might not.
Yeah,
I tried
barrel aged carp. We start bringing it all the way back around. Meth carp.
Meth carp. I was saying this the other day. Like, our problems in this world are pretty minuscule when you boil it. Like, nobody's getting attacked by bears, but meth gators. That's nobody's ready for
Should be a
that.
charity around that.
A what?
Charity around that.
Okay.
Save us from meth gators.
What would it be?
I mean, but if you've seen a meth gator without teeth, it's not that bad. I mean, so like, you can have.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about the ones that are addicted to meth on their teeth. You're going to give you a gummer.
Because if you've seen the posters, a person on meth before meth and after meth, there's really not that.
Just going to sit there and itch a bunch.
No teeth.
No teeth.
Just circles under their eyes.
Yeah, sores all over them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so maybe meth gator's not that big a deal.
No,
not really.
Give it a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, it's not a threat at all.
Gummy gators.
Gummy gators.
There you go. You know what?
It'll just tickle when they bite you.
That was an irrational fear of mine.
It was an irrational
I didn't.
fear.
Nature.
Take it through.
It has a way. Yeah.
Nature does have a way.
When meth, which is a natural substance made of natural things, right?
Oh, I mean, it's
Like
not super.
chlorine,
It's not super.
sure.
It's not made out of ghosts. So that's.
All natural products from lithium.
Yeah, I always get cracked. I was like, all natural. I was like, what is it? Supernatural? There you go.
Ooh, ghost gators.
Ghost gators. Well, there's probably those two.
Yeah. What?
Well, here we are again at Southern Star.
Yeah. So 5K.
5K.
Have you been training, Mike?
I mean, it's a 5K. You could.
Get out of here. Omar's been training. I can't do a 5K.
I can
Look
do a
at you
5K.
doing it. Of course you can do a 5K.
You can do
I
boot camp.
didn't
You work
sign
it.
up for it, and I'm not paying $60. Well, yes. Well, I can't say that on air. I'm cheap, so I might.
You're just
run
gonna
it
do
with.
it. You're gonna
I might
do it.
run it without the tag attached to my back and do it for free. I don't know.
Look at this guy. He's like 5/6 of the man he used to be, or maybe maybe 3/4.
You know what I find out that is
if
if you lose 54 pounds and you're still fat, that means I needed to lose a lot.
Yeah, I was just saying, that means you were really fat.
I was really fat.
and
Yeah.
So
then
you
I
lost
look at it
54?
and I start looking at myself. I'm like, we weren't too far off when you lost. Damn it.
No, I can do a 5K easy. So I just the magic pill to not dying is watching what you eat and working out.
Yeah.
See, I'm taking baby steps. The magic pill at the time was I quit smoking 2 years ago, so I'm going to live a little bit longer, one thing at a time. One thing per decade. Pacing.
Pacing.
I mean, I figured
When he's 65, time to work out.
maybe. Either that or just I'll make it to 65 and go. I'm gonna go smoke some meth with them gators. Who needs teeth anymore?
But yeah, the 5K, and then and of course September one, which is a Sunday at noon. We're going to start selling beer to go.
Yeah.
And then our Oktoberfest, which is personally my favorite thing that we do every year. We have an Oompa band that comes out. Rudy comes out. He does a great job. And we have a lot of fun.
Rudy and friends. It's not just Rudy.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of his band.
Homebrew Brass.
Homebrew Brass. There
Brass.
you go. Thank you for the plug.
Yeah.
But
They're great.
yeah, so
We are also going to be releasing our first brewery only release with beer to go there. We have our Tip and Tripel that we made
with Channing Heron.
with Channing quite a while ago.
Maybe.
We have been aging that for quite some time in tequila barrels, and so we're going to have tequila barreled Tripel, aged Tripel. It's not bad.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm still blaming Omar. It didn't start until he got here.
I didn't do anything.
So yeah, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a vertical black crack available. So growlers of black crack, growlers of Tip and Tripel.
And some other stuff that you guys
come
are
by.
doing.
Yeah, some other stuff that we're doing up here. Come by. I've just it's apparently we no longer need label approval for things only for sale in the tap room.
Nice.
So we can whip something up pretty quick. We do have label approval for the Tip
And I
Tripel,
think that's
but-
such a game changer for us because we catch a lot of flack from folks like, why don't you make small batch stuff? It's like, well, when you have a 60 barrel brew house, you can't just run out and make 10 gallons, and it's just so hard for us to do it. And a lot of micro breweries that are opening up, they have a very small, like they're making all these beers all the time, but they're small, right? And so we're not able to do that. And so Dave is working on, ironically, trying to buy a smaller brew house for the tap room. And so
Where'd you put it?
underneath our brew house. Seriously.
Dig a pit?
No, I mean I could fit a 3-barrel system underneath our brew house. No
Okay.
problem.
I just came up with an idea for a beer inspired by this episode.
what's that?
Gummy Gator Goza,
Gummy Gator Goza.
made with real swamp
hey.
water.
The only inside joke beers people
Maybe not.
four of us would get.
The last part made with real swamp water.
Well, brackish because you need salt,
That's true.
and it's got alliteration. Isn't that where all the words start with the same letter?
Yeah. Now you got me thinking.
Brackish, and then it could have it needs some sort of a kick for the meth gator.
Let's just put meth in it.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure that's. Oh wait a minute!
Gummy Gator
If
meth.
everybody from the feds are listening, I'm kidding.
Gummy Gator meth Goza.
Because the feds take that pretty seriously. They're like, "You're gonna do what with what?"
Marketing.
Yeah, marketing. Any press is good press, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not that in that case. Yeah. So
I don't know.
we're still a long way away from putting a 3-barrel system underneath our brewery and putting tiny little fermenters in between our fermenters, but we can. So I've been kind of thinking about that.
We have plans, and that's gonna.
What he
that's
says
gonna enable
plans.
us.
We've talked about it over beers. That's how plans.
That's a plan.
I know it's a plan. See,
Written
in this
on a
industry,
napkin?
legitimately, that's a plan.
for real.
But then they go, "We talked about this." I'm like, I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
we've got some great beers coming out before. On average, for having such a large brew house, we're pumping out a new beer every couple of months. And so for the fall time, we've got, of course, Oktoberfest. We have a pumpkin beer coming out for the first time.
Hey, what's
And
that? It's like, I just saw that the
Sigurd.
Zagord.
Yeah. So it's got a cool label, I think. Yeah, and so we also have a retro coming back kind of beer, La Morte Vivant.
Yes.
And so that's coming back. And
That's
so we put
exciting.
some really. And when I first started, it'll be 70 years in November. We used to sell that in bottles and the big, large format bottles and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
That's-
a good throwback.
That'll be back in the cans.
Yeah, it'll
yeah, no,
it'll be in 6 packs.
it'll be in 6 packs.
Is
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Which label? I've seen 2 labels on 2 different posters. Have you decided?
It'll be a combination of
It's
both.
the one that you saw is just a silver can. That was just a placeholder. It's actually a lot like the old label, but it's been tweaked.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's got the Gallic rooster that has like a skeleton Gallic rooster holding
Yeah.
a French flag. And then we're going to do something this year that's going to confuse the hell out of TABC. Brigadoon's also making Le Morte Vivant this year. So there's going to be 2 Le Morte Vivants with sort of the same label coming out from 2 different breweries. And no, it's going to be cool.
But there's a tribute beer though. To
Theirs is a tribute beer to our
Yeah.
beer, and we
Yeah.
can't have a collaboration, but there's no rules against it. You making the same beer. I mean, the only thing is that people be like, you can't do that. We're going to sue you. And me, we're like, we're like, no. I've even proposed to Alan Ward that we should make a mock lawsuit just to get more publicity.
Maybe we do it on. We could stream it.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be fun. But
Alan and Dave yelling at each other. You suck! You stole my beer.
Yeah,
Alan's gonna put on his serious kilt.
Yeah,
and,
I'll put on my serious kilt. I mean, I got a kilt too.
Speaking of kilts, I've got to buy new kilts. They don't fit anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You just take them in.
You take them in.
Just rub it in.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Just rub it in, Omar.
You too can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go.
No,
work
I
out.
can't.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
You're going to bed after band practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that exclusive episode. Omar, you missed this part at the very beginning of the show, but
Was that going to be the Patreon?
Yeah, we're going to talk about your band.
We're going to talk about Necro Pants and the Patreon.
Yeah.
That's the band
Is that the name of your band?
Yeah.
Do you have a guitar around?
Necro
What do you play
Pants.
guitar? Do
Yeah.
you have a guitar around? You don't keep one in your office?
No. Well, actually, I do, but it's not. It's an acoustic.
Yeah.
That Necro Pants is not an acoustic band.
Unplugged.
I don't think that works. It might. I don't know.
Necro one pants. Or
Maybe.
pantsed. Necro pantsed.
Necro Pants. Yeah.
That's the
Necro
acoustic
Pants.
set. Do you sing as well? Backup
Scream.
Okay, but are you lead?
Yeah.
So
Scream.
lead guitar. Are you lead guitar? Or just
We only have one guitar, so yeah, I'm both lead and rhythm.
Is there anybody else in
He
this
does
band?
lots of guitar solos.
No, it's a
Stomping
solo.
on
It's a solo. No, actually, yes.
Stomping on this bass drum and a.
No, we're a 3-piece.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a 3-piece.
Okay.
So,
Well, yeah, we'll
and-
talk about that in the exclusive Patreon.
All right,
Some
cool.
other goodies, like trying to figure out what's causing all that.
Yeah, no,
feedback.
it's the mystery feedback. It's-
No, I don't know that we're. Are we ready to shut down this main episode though? I feel like we've got so much more.
No,
to
we
talk
got more to
about.
talk about.
I got
we
all
got more
day.
we only had 2 beers.
That's true.
Can we
So-
just go for an epic 6-hour, marathon?
Yeah, I got time. I only have to. I have a basketball game to get to at 6.
Oh.
But other than that,
I don't have a watch on, so
so we're like.
no, my watch quit working. As soon as I got to Mexico, I'm like, what the hell? And then I started looking at it, and the second I was like, and I was like, why? So like literally for like in 2 hours, my watch will be 30 minutes fast. I was just like, I'm just taking it off.
Yeah, it's the
I mean,
whole-
I've always worn one, so I'm like, what time is it?
That's the point of going to Mexico. Just
I guess,
leave all
but
that
like
behind.
now it's like and then you're talking to your kids, and they're like, why do you wear like a wrist clock? You know, you have a phone, Dad. You know, it's like-
well, let's refill. And,
Okay,
and
do
we
this
won't
again,
even.
huh?
Yeah, we won't say that we're doing it.
no, we're no.
No, they won't even know again.
Yeah, back in a flash.
Yeah, Omar bailed on us.
Couldn't hold his liquor.
Yeah, dude. Just kidding. Love you, Omar. What were we talking about before? I don't even remember now. We were talking about. We talked like that's the thing. Like I wish everybody. Well, I don't wish everybody. It'd be too crowded. But if people could hear like what we talk about when we're not talking about on stuff on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those are the juicy bits.
Well, maybe we could do it next time with the tap room open. We'll just have everybody involved. That might get chaotic.
It would get super chaotic, but it'd be fun.
It would be
It'd be a
fun.
lot of fun. Live shows would be a lot of fun. I get a little performance-y though. I play to the crowd. I'm kind of not a diva.
A showman?
Yeah.
See, and I think I would withdraw because I'm the classic introvert. So
Yeah. I was the youngest kid. I'm the youngest child, and love.
Kim?
That's my sister.
I know.
And when you okay, so,
I'm the youngest child too. You'd think that I'd be different, but I'm not. I'm like, I'm gonna go hide in this corner, and let
Yeah.
everybody else do stuff.
were your how many siblings?
4, and they were all quite a bit older than I am.
Okay, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. There's an interesting dynamic, like especially with like 3. They always say like 3 have like the oldest is like,
Oh, I totally see. I've got 3, and yeah, my youngest guy's a ham.
uh-huh.
He's just like the oldest is like it's so typical. The oldest is like the responsible one, but he's also kind of mopey and
Yeah.
and my middle one's like
The pleaser, maybe? That's what they typically say.
what, the first one or the middle
The
one?
middle child.
Oh yeah, big time. But he's like awesome at everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's just I don't know. He's always wanted to be like the first one. We went to Mexico, and he was the first guy to jump off the cliff into the cenote. He was the first one to dive in with a snorkel on. I mean, we went skiing, and he was like, he never skied before in his life, and he was
Tore it
like,
up.
he was gone. I was like, see you later. It's just like, all right.
What are how far apart?
In 2 years, or they're all within 2 years of
next one.
Yeah, the next one.
Yeah. That's about like my sister's one.
Me too.
5 years older than I am, and then Others just
No,
3 years.
no, 2 years. 2 years.
So yeah, it's a good.
It's a good mix.
Separation.
It's a good mix. They're all in they're all separated by 2 years of class too. So it's like,
Don't really compete.
10-8-6.
yeah, no, the different groups of friends,
Yeah.
different. It was just good. Yeah. So it was 14, 12, and 10 is what I got right
Yeah,
now. So
that's a good age. Like I've got 12 and 2 10-year-olds. So
yeah.
yeah, but it's a fun age.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
people talk about. I mean, I'm terrified of the rest of everybody being in middle school at one time. I'm terrified of all.
I get it. I can't. I'm gonna be terrified when they all start wanting to drive places.
I thought I thought technology was gonna save us. Like, we'll just take robot cars places.
I know. I was talking about that last night. I was like, look, because the drummer, the band, and he was like, dude, he's like really into cars. He's like, it's 2020. Everybody's gonna be rolling out these awesome cars. I was like, look, unless one of them's a flying car, I don't care. Because I was promised a flying car when I was little, and it's got to go, and
pulled up into a suitcase.
yeah. And I don't have it. So Elon Musk, suck it. I don't have my flying car. I don't want an electric car. I'll take an electric flying car.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Well,
Super silent.
no, it's still got to go. You have like a little tone thing that you hit to where you make it sound like a Harley or make it sound like a.
Yeah. That'd be
I'll
cool.
quit doing that. It's probably annoying.
No, it's fine. People love that. They've actually.
People love that. It's a request.
It's a big thing right now. It's really trending on hashtag more. That however you spell that.
Yeah, I'm not real sure. Not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty pissed on a flying car.
Yeah. Twitter. I'm just gonna say this. All of social. I've unfollowed a lot of people here lately.
You've unfollowed a lot of people?
Yeah, including family members. People that get too.
Yeah, it's funny. I've completely pulled off of social media. I don't use it. I broke up with Facebook right after Harvey, and because it was crazy. 2 days after Harvey, people were still getting, it was a day and a half. People were still getting rescued from their houses and stuff, and here they come. The freaking trolls, start coming, and you got them, from all sides of the political spectrum. You got the conservatives going, "This happened because your mayor's gay," and then you got the other ones saying, "This happened because you voted for Trump." And I'm just like, really done. And I flushed it down the toilet, and it's awesome. And I tell my friends that, and they're like, "Well, you're still on Facebook." I'm like, "No, that's Facebook's ghost," because I use it to I read a lot, so I'm one of those amateur know-it-all. I write a lot of reviews. I don't write beer reviews. I write book reviews. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just but apparently those all get posted on Facebook. And they're like, "Well, you did this." And people comment. I was like, "I didn't see it. I don't care. I'm not on it anymore."
Yeah, when you step back and don't even look at it, you're not affected by it anymore. That's like everybody that's angry online. That's why it's not real.
It's not, and it's so liberating. I stopped. It was that. But then later on, there was one night, and I was up too late, drinking way too much, and I was sitting there, and it was just like on my back porch, and it was like and with nothing to do. I was sitting there just staring off into space, and it was like every 5 seconds I'd pick up my phone and see what was going on. I was like, this is stupid. Mm-hmm. This is stupid. I'm wasting my time. Yeah. And the only thing that happens here is people yell at each other. Yeah. So you know what? If you want to get a hold of me, I still have Facebook Messenger. Yep. That's cool. I'll use that. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to. And the same thing with Twitter. I'll sometimes look and see what people say, but I don't tweet. Yeah. Because what's the point? You're just throwing matches at the gasoline, the dumpster fires, because it's just going to blow up. And people,
it's keeping it going. It's a good place to keep up with what's going on in the Houston area beer scene.
And I can't even do that though, because it's like if that happens, I've from the get go, ever since it really started, and it started sort of when I was at St. Arnold, but I hadn't discovered social media yet. But it started here. Then you read reviews, and and people, it's always nice to hear the ones that's like, "I love your beer," but then it's you always get your feelings hurt by people just taking a shit on your beer. So it's just like, you know what? I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, so cool. And if there's a problem with the beer, then people email and stuff, and cool, and and I have people that some of.
Do you have your phone number on the cans?
No,
not your personal phone.
I hate cell phones. Yeah. I really do. I hate cell phones. And they email, or something will blow up on the Twitterverse or whatever. And somebody,
if it's big enough, you'll hear about it.
I've got it. I'm lucky enough to where I've got people that handle that. So it's like, like Keith handles a lot of social media. So if there's a problem, it'll get back to me. If I need to address something, I'll address something. But, everybody's an expert now because they've got, and I'm not disregarding what people, your opinion's your opinion. If you want to put it online, cool, whatever. I've opted, and I've chose that's the best thing to do, because if I'm more fretting about what people are saying about, my company and my beer, and it started on, I like almost immediately stopped looking at Beer Advocate and rate beer and Untapped and all those old ones, and now Untapped's like whatever, it's like whatever. I mean, I look at the some of the ratings and go, well, people don't really like that, but or people really like that, but for my own sanity, I had to pull out of that, and I think for my own sanity, I had to pull out of social media as well. I still get on our Facebook page for the company and do some stuff like that, because it's a great way to promote stuff. Everybody's on social media, so we get we've got Twitter things. I will post things on those accounts, but as far as my personal stuff, I'm a very personal person, and somewhat of an introvert. So I'm just like, what. You realize that you get to opt in, and you can also opt out.
Yeah,
and it's very liberating. Like I said, when I opted out of social media, it was so freaking liberating. I was just like, oh my God, I don't have to do this anymore. And I didn't realize how much of a burden I was putting on myself for this. For social media, and it's just like this. I mean, it's like what you were talking about with the jobs of like you're. I think we're talking about that off the mic, but we're looking at it's about perspective, and so the train's left. I don't kind of derailed, but
no, but I get what you're saying. It's what is it really? It's just words on a screen. Nobody's real emotions. I mean, maybe for a moment, but emotions are just like that. Quick, people, and then.
I'm so happy though that coming back to beer, I've always said that beer is a social lubricant. Beer has put people together, and that's what it's all about. And even as an introvert, I enjoy going out to a pub and having discourse with people, having a beer with somebody. That's a bonding experience. You don't get, Facebook's like this. It's just like. Not Facebook, social media is just like these little banner things. Nobody talks to each other in a bar like they talk to each other on social media. Yeah. Because for one, you'd get kicked out of the bar because you'd be kicking each other's ass. But nobody's like that.
Yeah, I had this idea and I don't have what we call follow through, so this is why it never went anywhere. But I had this idea for a social, I don't know if you call it social media or whatever, but a thing called a beer with me thing. So you could only log in when you had a beer with somebody, and you could only take a picture with somebody after you'd had 2 beers with them, and then all you could say is the beer you had, maybe an overall, like, what'd you talk about? Like, oh, we talked about whatever, gardening and music, and you picture of you and somebody else with a beer, and that's your social account, and that's it. And then you have to put your phone, and then it locks you out, and you just have to sit there and talk to an actual person. And I was like, because that's the thing. The remedy is beer. It's beer. I mean, like, maybe not for everybody, but people that listening to this podcast, having a beer with somebody. Like, that's why I quit following or just unfollowed and muted people. Yeah. Like, let's sit down and have a beer together. And if it's something that really, really bothers you, or you want to hash it out,
and let's have a real conversation.
Yes,
not a fake conversation, because social media fosters fake conversations.
Yeah.
Because you get to sit there and think about it, and I guess in some ways it's kind of like having a podcast or having those. You control the microphone, you're behind it, you can do whatever you want to.
Right.
You can be as snide as you want to, you can be snarky, you can do whatever. You can be an asshole if you want to, or you can be a perfect gentleman. But people aren't like that. They tend to just be like, well, this is what I think, and blah 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 blah. And you're like, you know what? Do you lose all your couth? You don't have to have manners. You don't have to have. And you know what couth and manners are? That's human interaction.
Yeah.
You don't have when you don't have human interaction, you get people to where when you meet somebody, you already in person for the first time, you already have these preconceived notions. Well, that guy's got to be an evil bastard, or that person's. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad because, I've got a lot of friends. I mean, I'm kind of a political outsider. I believe in a lot of weird stuff. I believe that crack should be legal. damn the consequences. That's just me. I mean, it's a lot of different ways. I think that I think that there are a lot of things, and I don't jive with a lot. I don't ride any. I guess what I'm saying is I don't ride any political party lines. So I've got friends on the left and on the right, and if I just communicated with any of them social media, I wouldn't have any friends at all because I'm just like
everybody be angry with
everybody be angry with me probably. And there's some people that agree with me on some things, but they're like, man, I really like the way he thinks about this, but he's just dead wrong on this. It's fine, cool.
Convince me.
I've got a lot of friends that I don't agree with at all politically. You know what? I'm not friends with their politics. I'm friends with them because they're cool people.
Yeah,
they're human beings, and I don't know.
No, it's true. Like I've got an uncle. I don't think he listens to the podcast. He may, but our politics are probably pretty far off. I'm pretty like libertarian, live and let live and that sort of thing. Most, with a, you have to have a moral undergirding of everything, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of like that too.
But he's of a different perspective, and I don't care. I love being around him. He's just a lovable dude, regardless of the fact that our politics are pretty far apart, and I don't care.
Jesus, could you imagine having a Facebook conversation with your grandpa if your grandpa was still here?
No.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's like but I mean, it's
My grandfather owned a pool hall. That was a good place to go. But
and mine owned a convenience store. Like a long, long time ago. It was just like, what the, and then he was like a small engine repair guy, and it's just like, I mean, my grandfather was super duper cool. But if I didn't know he was my grandpa, we had this conversation on Twitter, we'd probably hate each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like, if you were to meet somebody on the street, you might really, or in a bar or in, a beer bar, in our tap room, which is open for. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, our tap room. You can look on our webpage for hours. I'm not going to do that. But that's what's so great about coming back to beer again. That's what's so great about it is you can have. To me, I love to discuss with people. I love to even kind of argue with people, but in a civil way.
Yeah.
And I don't like to stand around and push my views on somebody. I want to have discourse. I want to learn something. If you believe that, let's say that you believe that gay marriage is wrong, and I believe that it's right. I want to know why, and then hopefully I can walk away from that conversation thinking, I see that person's perspective. I don't agree with it, but I see the person's perspective instead of going, man, that guy's just a jerk. I don't want to talk to him. I want to unfriend him. And I guess that's what it comes down to.
Well, it's the easy way out.
It is.
If you're sitting across the table though, and they bought you a beer, and then you're obligated to finish that beer with them, that's pretty powerful.
They probably have a reason. Yeah. And you know their reason. And you know what? It's their reason. And it's not the end of the world if they think I'm against gay marriage.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, I personally have no problem at all. I'm pretty libertarian. I think you should be able to marry a goat if you want. I don't care. It's like as long as the goat's consenting. It's like I wouldn't. Look, I'm a dude that's married to a lady, and that's my choice. But if I wanted to get married to four ladies, or four ladies want to get married to a dude, or four dudes want to get married to one lady, to me, it's like it's 2020 almost, and if everybody consents to it and everybody's cool with it, fine. I don't care.
It's almost 2020, but our vision has never been more cloudy.
But
yeah. We still have flying cars.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I would never marry a goat.
No, I wouldn't either.
I thought about marrying a sheep. She was too bashful.
I need the sound effects.
Yeah.
Maybe just edit that out. That was cheap. That was a cheap.
No, it's cheap and relevant.
Yes. I looked over your shoulder and I saw the Bombshell Blonde cutout, and this is where I tell the story of what happened last time I came to the brewery. Oh
yeah, you were going to tell me the story.
So we came up. We were at a dance competition here in Conroe. My middle daughter, who's a whole minute older than my youngest daughter, which is funny because I still kind of fall into that thing of like oldest, middle, youngest. And my oldest and my youngest were not dancers, so we came up here between dances and we played some foosball and had what did we have? We had that you have some like cake balls or something.
Oh, those cake balls are awesome.
We threw some cake balls around.
They're locally made too.
And
pie in the sky.
Yeah. Oh, pie. That was it.
Pie in the
was
sky
Keith,
cake balls are man.
Keith was
good
here.
Stuff.
You were you? I don't know. Did I see you? I don't think I saw you. Maybe no, I did. I took a picture of you. Yeah, I took a picture with you, not just of you. He was at the urinal. Took a creeper. See, saw you today. Message you.
Put that on Instagram. See what happens.
Here's Dave at the urinal. He's feeling good.
Yeah.
Looking healthy.
It's got an innie.
Well,
sorry. Reference.
Earlier. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I think before we recorded, so it's lost on everybody. But yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. So, anyway, the strawberry is right when Strawberry Blonde came out. Like it had just dropped, maybe a week before. So when was that? It's April, March, April. What? Finish that last little sip. Was it like spring?
I
Right?
think so. Yeah, it was definitely spring.
It's good. It's good.
What a strange. I mean, I love it. I love it. I want to hate it, but I love it because I'm a purist. It's a pink beer, and it's just stupid delicious.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous how good that beer is.
Yeah,
and it's just like three dudes sitting around a table talking about super manly stuff. We're about to drink some pink, delicious strawberry beer, and it's freaking awesome. But anyway, we were here, so I brought my two daughters up there playing some foosball, and then we were about to leave. Actually, I don't know if we finished our cake balls, and my youngest was like, "Hey, take a picture of me with my face in the picture of the
Blonde.
very well endowed,
The bombshell blonde.
she's beautiful." But so my 10-year-old like, "Yeah, this is marginally appropriate, questionable. Let's take this picture."
A little bit more appropriate than if it was my son. Yeah. But hey, 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we got perfect vision. But so anyway, I was like, "Hey, oldest daughter, hold up your sister," and she was holding her up like to take the picture, and I took one. I was like, hold on, let me get one more because
Your fault.
angle
I won't tell
not
this
proper
story yet.
So, she was all in. She was getting ready to smile. You didn't really smile. She kind of had this weird look. I was like, "You need to smile, because that's what we do when you take pictures. You have to take like 20 of them." Well, her older sister dropped her, and that's
Oh no!
it's sturdy material.
Severed her
It didn't
head off.
I cut her up pretty good actually.
Yeah.
We walked. She's like, "Ugh," after she fell out because it just scraped like all the skin off her neck right there.
Oh man!
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that down.
No.
No, my insurance guy's listening.
I looked to see. I just actually looked.
There's no skin.
There's no skin. I don't think there's any dried blood or anything on there.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear
she's
that.
Like, and then she's like, I was like, "What happened?" She goes, and I looked at it. And when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh God," because it looked really
Big
bad.
sister dropped me.
Yeah, it looked really
Maybe
bad.
we should put a stool back there.
You probably shouldn't
Well,
have 10-year-olds that are
Yeah.
like literally my kids are super.
just for
they're
adults.
gymnasts. Like a 10-year-old that's small for her age, so it'd be like a normal sized 6-year-old. My kids are small.
I'm sorry.
Nah,
that sucks. No, that sucks.
It's not going where.
I know
it's
it
fine.
costs your
She's
10-year-old.
She's better
pain.
now.
Well,
She's fine.
good.
She's fine. She learned from it. Never trust your sister. That was the lesson there.
That's what I learned at a brewery. Never trust your
It has
sister.
nothing to do with the brewery. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the brewery.
Yes, no, but that was the thing. And so, anyway, so we left very abruptly. I was going to come say bye to you.
Anyway, we had to leave and go to the emergency room.
We just stopped by the CVS, got some Neosporin, and then my wife was able to cover it up with some makeup because that's the lesson learned. Ask your mom. Makeup.
Stings.
Yeah, but better than being
Just
looked at.
dad, bring her home alive, and mom will take care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so lessons learned. It was a life lesson day, and we still had some good cake balls and got good pictures before the trauma. So it's like
And good beer.
You'll never know.
Yeah.
Fantastic beer.
Nope.
So anyway, thanks for that beer that day. It helped me get through a dance competition.
Yeah.
There was all the guilt, like the dad guilt. It was like bad.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the worst dad guilt days I've had. Where you do something like,
Yeah, I've had something like that too. I've been like, oh my
horrible
god!
dad.
But that makes you a better parent too, though. It's Yeah.
And you just got all boys?
Yeah.
3 boys?
Yeah, 3 boys.
And 3 girls.
there was another same child, youngest child. She got her head stuck in the booster potty seat when she was like 3. She like put it on her head. She's like, "Oh, this is hilarious!" And then dunk, and it went over, and it wouldn't come back out. And I remember like laughing at her when she had it on her head. I'm like, "Ah, that's hilarious!"
cute.
And then Yeah. Yeah. And then Vaseline, like I have pictures of her with all the Vaseline in her hair and everything, trying to get that thing
Vaseline,
off.
shower Vaseline.
You have a
Yeah.
Sawzall?
Well, that's eventually. I don't. Did we have?
It's like, here, put these earplugs in. I'm going to use the Dremel tool.
I need a Dremel. Dremels are great.
Everybody should have a Dremel.
I got one.
Really.
Do you?
Everybody should have one.
What?
And with a big-ass box of attachments. You got to have all of
I
them.
don't have one. I need one.
You need to. Because every once in a while, you'll be like, how do I mod my barbecue pit? If you had like 6 beers, you're like, I got to do this. How do I mod this? You got a Dremel.
It does everything.
Dremel.
Good.
I got a Dremel, but I don't have the attachments. I need the big box.
You know what they're
you
really
use
good
them?
for?
Yeah.
Pumpkin carving.
I've never
Well,
used it for
that's-
pumpkin. I can see that, though.
I got one. I got one for that too.
Messy,
especially for that.
but
Yeah.
yeah, you got to do it in the backyard.
I have a big
do that in
like,
your house.
So I use the jigsaw on the top of the pumpkin, and I've got this other long bit with a thing, like a big ball.
Yeah, see the thing. You have to have the things.
Yeah, and it like rips out all the guts.
I use the grinders the most, or the cutters. The you know.
Yeah.
I was taking apart one of those redwood swing set, you know, or I guess that's what it is. One of those big swing sets. My kids have outgrown it, and I was like, they put them together for you, and then you got to take them apart. And you're
Yeah.
like, what the hell? And they got these weird carriage bolts that don't have. So yeah, I use that a lot. Just cutting off bolts and like cutting like slots into carriage bolts to where you can hold them and unscrew stuff. Yeah, that was fun.
Did you burn all the wood? Like a
We burned a lot of it, actually. I took a lot of it out here. We burned a lot of it. I actually reused quite a bit of it to make the raised bed gardens that I'm doing. So yeah,
Nice.
I repurposed.
There you go.
Repurposed,
Gardening.
Yeah.
This is where Mike tunes out completely.
That's all good. All I'm growing right now is peppers, which is amazing.
What kind of peppers?
You name it. You
All
name
of
it,
them?
man. All the peppers. I've got
Serrano.
no.
Yes. You name it. Serrano. No.
all those ones that you no
Except
Poblano.
no
Bell.
no. All the peppers except the ones that you know.
Jalapeno.
No.
What are you? A banana.
No.
how many? What? Keep going.
Habanero.
No.
Ghost.
No.
Scorpion.
No.
Carolina.
Yes.
Carolina Reaper.
Yeah, I've got Carolina Reapers.
So basically,
So-
you're growing Carolina Reapers would have been the answer to that
Oh
question.
no, I'm growing Carolina Reapers. I got a big old Tabasco, that's growing a whole bunch of Tabasco. I've got a basket of fire left over from last year, which is an amazing plant. You should go get one.
Okay.
They grow in planters, and they're just and they're little tiny peppers that are 80,000 Scovilles. I mean, they're just hotter than get out. They're really good. I got pekins, or a pekin bush. I'm growing these Mad Hatter peppers that are like they're sort of like bells. The seeds are a little bit warm, but they're delicious. So that one's going crazy.
So you're mainly a pepper grower.
In the summertime, I mean, that's what really grows here. I grew all kinds of crap in the spring,
Okay.
in the winter and the spring. So the beauty of now this is going to turn into the garden show.
Yeah.
The beauty of a raised bed garden is
Randy
can,
Lemon, suck it.
No, Randy Lemon, thank you.
No, he's great.
No, I know.
I'm saying we're taking over the garden line.
Yeah, I know.
He's awesome. I follow.
I
his
bet that
first-
guy can grow some pot.
He's a mad scientist. He's awesome.
No, Randy Lemon's awesome. So anyway, so I'm growing all this stuff. So right now, what's growing is okra and peppers because it's hotter and get out outside. So
Okra, prolific.
so that's
What's the biggest okra you've ever grown?
the one that I've got right now is the only okra I've ever. Well, actually, I've got a Chinese okra that it hasn't produced any okra, but it's literally I planted it. It is literally like if you were to stretch it out, it'd probably be 150 feet long. It's like up in my trees. I think it's out of control, and I keep thinking I'm going to cut this thing down. It's not doing anything. I'm like, no, I'm going to see how far this goes because I think you have to plant 2 of them to because I've only seen 2 little flowers on it, and
Yeah.
there's still no
It's
okra.
like
So
pumpkins.
I don't think I'm going to get any okra out of it, but like I said, I'm probably pissing the neighbor. It's growing into 3 neighbors' yards. so I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens.
As long as you don't walk out and it's like, feed me.
Then I'm going to kill it. Yeah. So yeah, right now, lots of peppers. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I could do that.
You could do it.
I could-
You have the room.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
You need
I love
sunlight
making,
for
I love
peppers.
making hot sauce, so I'll take.
We'll have to talk. Let's talk.
I grew some jalapenos one year, and they were the hottest peppers I've ever had. And,
I got these things called cowhorn peppers, which are supposed to be, somewhat mild, and they're supposed to be really big. Well, mine are all really small, and they're just super hot, but they look like cowhorn peppers, but they're
like mini.
They're like minis, and they're just blazing hot. Yeah. But what's cool about it is I'm taking those and shoving them in bottles and just putting vinegar on them and just putting them up. So, because I'm big on eating like greens and putting, vinegar, like pepper.
What's your
vinegar
favorite green?
Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I like a lot of different
Mustard?
greens. I'm a big fan of mustard greens. I like turnip greens, although that probably wouldn't be at the top of the list. I like mustard, probably my favorite. Mustard and spinach mixed together, probably my favorite. I like collard. I like turnip. I'm still growing some chard that hasn't gone anywhere. It's crazy. It just keeps growing and growing and growing.
That's the word I was thinking of. Kelly, she's not listening to this podcast, but was trying to think of chard. That's the word. That was like 3 weeks ago.
But you didn't think of it.
I couldn't think of it.
Dave thought of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Knew it.
But garden.
I'll forget it before I talk to her again. But chard. That was it.
Chard greens.
Chard.
No,
No,
not. Well, chard is actually a beet.
Yeah.
That is it's a rootless beet. So beet greens, chard greens.
Greens. Okay.
You can eat radish greens. You
Really?
can pretty much eat anything that grows. You can eat carrot. Oh man, I grew all these carrots, and I was taking the carrot tops and making tabbouleh out of them. And I did that just several times. I just kept paring them down and making tabbouleh out of them. I love to cook too.
Yeah.
But,
who doesn't? Mike, do you like to
I love to eat.
I do when I get the chance, but I just don't cook for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's single dude life right there.
I mean, no, it's
Well,
it's not good.
I end up cooking for myself because I make all this stuff. My family was like, "Ew, what the hell?" So I'm like, okay, I'll eat the 9 pounds of tabbouleh I just made.
That's my thing. I love to eat, so I now love to cook. I've learned to to cook and love to cook because I love to eat.
Yeah,
that's motivation.
It's so much better when you make it. It's just like homebrew. I mean, even if it's not all that great, you did it, so it's time to eat it.
I remember,
or drink it.
Exactly. Or drink it. This is like when I first started homebrewing, my homebrew sucked, but I was like, I made this. I love it.
I remember,
and then I got better. So
I remember sitting in my garage drinking that like an American wheat ale because that was when St. Arnold got rid of they stopped making Texas wheat, and I was like, yep, that's why I'm brewing this. And then I got intimidated and let the ingredients sit in my closet for months and months and months. It's like
I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not the beer to intimidate you. You should have just made it, jumped into it.
Well, now that I know, once I did it, I was like, let's do this again. But I remember sitting in my garage. We were getting ready to sell the house, and garage was all torn apart, and refinishing stuff or whatever, and just sitting there drinking that beer. And I'm like, I made this beer. This is pretty badass. Doesn't taste very good, but it's pretty badass.
Whatever, it tastes pretty good to you. If I could just get past all these weird off flavors, this beer would be great. I'm gonna drink it.
I'm licking a cardboard box, but other than
That's
that,
all right. I'm gonna drink it. Yeah, no,
this is mine. Yep, my cardboard box. Lick my box all day long. Wait, what? Hey, let's wrap up this portion of the show.
On that note,
on this note, we'll wrap up this portion of the show, and then we've got exclusive Patreon only. If you're a Patreon subscriber, what's going to be coming up will be only for you, and that should tickle your fancies. I hope, right, Mike? It's pretty enticing, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've gone into some pretty deep depths on this episode, but we'll do more.
We still got curves. There's still curves.
We didn't even really get silly on this episode, like that's usually our tradition.
Yeah, we got a little serious.
Yeah,
you're all like
weird.
Took it the other way.
Yeah, well,
that's fine.
You never can tell what's going to happen when you come to Southern Star.
You just hit record and start talking.
That's right.
And wherever the beer leads the conversation, that's where the conversation goes, because beer is the thing.
It's the beacon.
It's the beacon.
Yeah.
It's the lighthouse. It's on that shore.
It is.
Yeah, we're just dudes and slickers.
That's all we are, man. dudes and slickers. like stand on the shore like Captain Gordon.
Yeah, that's us with our, big yellow pants,
rubber boots,
and a slicker jacket.
Yep, that's it. So, ahoy, mateys! Thanks for listening to this episode. Dave, great as always.
Always fantastic.
It really is. Like, I don't know why we don't do this like once a month.
Oh, we should. We should do this once a week.
Okay.
You're like, all right. I love it when you guys come. I really do. I love talking to you guys. There's always very insightful conversations, and seriously, man, I love talking to you guys. I love doing this. I love the format of this podcast. I love talking about the things we're talking about, like we were talking about earlier.
Talking about stuff.
Talking about
stuff.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, seriously, man, I really, really enjoy when you guys come out, and just love doing this show.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me on again.
Well, of course, anytime, like literally anytime.
Next week.
Okay, we'll be back next week. So we'll wrap there, and then Dave and I'll do some alone time because Mike's got to scurry off. But I took the day off work because I know what happens when you come to Southern Star.
You drink 9 beers.
You do. All right. So for TD Mike and for Dave Fougeron and for Omar Viengar, is that, do you say it?
Yeah, Viengar.
Viengar.
Yeah.
The what does he call himself? The Pakistani
No, he's the
Mexican?
Irish car bomb. That's what he calls
Okay,
himself.
the Irish car.
Omar Hussein Viengar, the
Yes.
Irish car bomb.
Oh, there you go. Yes, the slim down version.
Yeah, he's like half the car bomb he used to be.
Yeah. So, but still, all the bang. I guess.
Yes.
I guess, yeah. He
Yeah.
seems to have not lost any of his bang.
Yeah, he went from dynamite to nitroglycerin. I don't
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know
Not an
explosives.
explosives expert.
All right. Well, for everybody that's been on the show today, my name is Josh. This is InterBrews.
This is InterBrews.
And if you've made it this far, this is where I remind you: don't forget that Patreon page. Support the show. Little as $1 an episode. If you loved all of this, I mean, maybe psychological counseling, but you can support the show. Either way, thank you very much. Exclusive stuff for those Patreon supporters coming up soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
The preceding has been a presentation of Stewed Productions.
Oh, we're like 11 seconds short of 2 hours. So I'm going to keep talking. High fives. High fives. High fives.
High fives and
for
more
the
high
next
fives.
3,
High
Two,
five. High five,
two,
everybody. High five.
high five.
1.
Boom.
2 hours,
Oh,
y'all.
man.
Woo.
2 hours.
Bye-bye.